Hey, this is Cole Cabana at a packed house OTT, and I want you to know I'm happy that you're listening to me and you're listening to the Kickouts. 1, 2, oh, a kickout.
The face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
How's it going, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guide, right here on 90.3 Near FM, all good podcasting providers, and on the Electronic Media Collective podcast network. I'm Dave Cullen, and I'm joined by a man who can't stop watching Steven Seagal's Under Siege since Monday, Daragh Maher. Daragh, how are you this afternoon?
Under Siege.
Why did I not see that coming? Just did.
You're like Kurt Angle, he didn't see the Smackdown roster coming either.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
And we also didn't see the Raw one on Smackdown. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw that next week, though, wouldn't it?
I saw an interesting theory, actually, that could happen. The SmackDown and Raw are going to be in Manchester doing a house show on the 7th and the 8th of November.
Okay.
I think that's when Raw will invade.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I've also heard that the Shield are going to be on the Ireland and UK tour. They're Raw, Sable on SmackDown tour.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to give.
Yeah.
Someone's going to give. In all seriousness, have you actually seen that movie before?
Under Siege?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I have.
I'm trying to remember
That's
what
the
it was.
one. That's the one with the. There was two.
Oh,
Or was there true? I don't know. Steven Seagal makes a lot of bad movies.
well, exciting at the time.
Yeah, I think the first Under Siege was when they were on the boat. He was the cook.
Okay.
And then the boat was taken over
Well, okay.
by, well, you wouldn't say terror. Well, you would technically use the term terrorist, but it was an American Navy vessel that was taken over by other Americans.
I see. Okay.
It had also, what's that guy's name? The actor's name. Damn, what's his name?
The actor's name?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. Never heard of him.
Have you you would know him if you saw him.
I know him maybe to see.
Yeah, you'd know if you saw him. He looks like a crazy man. So he's
Was he that guy that was on Con Air?
No.
No, hold on. Was he in
Blonde hair.
He
has blonde hair.
No, I wouldn't know. No, I'm thinking of someone else completely different.
Are you thinking of Steve Buscemi?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. No, because I was going to say, what was that show called again? That was in New Jersey.
The show that was in New Jersey.
Yeah. I'm gone off points.
It's not the Jersey Shore, is it? Dave?
No, it is not. It was well before that. But anyway, we're coming to you live from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolock. I'll be here for the next 2 hours, bringing you all the latest news, results, previews, rumours, and more from the world of professional wrestling. On this week's show, we'll be covering all the latest news from the world of pro wrestling, both here and abroad, reviewing all the past week's action from WWE TLC, Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and NXT. I'll also be previewing events coming up, including OTT's Vendetta that'll be coming up next week. All that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with a story concerning Kevin Nash. In an interview with Sean X-Pac Waltman on his X-Pac 12360 podcast, WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash discussed the recent legal issues between WWE and the Young Bucks and other wrestlers using the too sweet hand gesture. For those unfamiliar with the story, several days after Bullet Club staged an invasion prior to WWE Monday Night Raw in Ontario, California, the same show where Jimmy Jacobs took a photo with the Young Bucks, the Bucks received a cease and desist letter from the WWE regarding their usage of the too sweet hand gesture. Nash, who along with Waltman was part of the Click faction who oriented the gesture in the wrestling business, said that if they do have a problem with the Young Bucks using it, then WWE should not have a problem with them with it either, stating, quote, For me, it is just like you created that. It is your hand gesture. Sean, you are the one who came in and told us the story of seeing the hand gesture at a bar. It was a Turkish wolf. So if anyone should get credit for that hand gesture, it's you, because you showed it to the clique and we adapted as our inside the hand gesture. So if they want to call it too sweet, that's fine. But for me, it's like, really? If someone threw up the peace sign for the first time, are they going to try and get intellectually property, trying to get intellectual property on that? So he kind of makes a good point on it, like like in a sense where, yeah, sure, it has a significance in WWE history, but that doesn't mean they should take property of it at the same time, like, you know.
It's just WWE just not being able to take a joke.
Yeah, true. It's basically
that's the whole thing.
It's fairness over the whole situation.
The thing is, Young Bucks have probably made so much more money since that.
That's it.
I think their cease and desist T-shirt that came out after it is the highest selling T-shirt they've ever had.
Makes sense.
So they're fine. They're absolutely fine, and they have a new too sweet censored sort of gesture thing. Do you see that, the little cardboard that you put in front?
I didn't see that actually for their other shows. No, I've seen their new one sweet one where it's like
the finger.
Yeah, the ET phone home.
Yeah, what was it? Marty Scurll put on his Twitter saying if Steven Spielberg sees this and he gets annoyed, we're in real trouble.
Yeah, because he's probably has way more money than WWE ever will have. Like, so
I don't know. WWE did just announce on Friday that via Twitter on Stephanie McMahon. That it's their best ever quarterly profit margin they've ever had,
which is surprising.
Which I don't know. I don't know.
It's very surprising though. If they made that much of a profit, it must have been from all the cost cut and like all the.
Oh, it would have to be.
Like all they must have spent a fortune on fireworks before.
Pyro and everything.
Yeah.
And now they have nothing.
Considering their loss,
the fact that they don't put any imagination into their staging either. They have the same staging set pretty much. They have 2 staging sets. That's it.
Not only that, but they're also losing. They're also losing attendance. They're losing numbers on WWE Network. So
their merch sales are down.
So, but despite that, they're still making.
It's cost cutting. Yeah.
That's,
and I think they'll probably use that as an excuse, saying that the Jinder Mahal WWE title run has worked. Because
no, it didn't.
I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of a WWE stooge. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
So,
you already won an official one a few weeks ago, actually. But go on. You made it on the show. It's pointless hushing it now.
You exposed me, Dave.
You seemed happy at the time, but no. But like, it's such backwards thinking that they go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, Jinder Mahal, we're probably getting all this new revenue from other countries." Which, to be fair, like that's probably one of the reasons they would make it maybe extra money from all this income from maybe other countries, especially TV deals from the likes of India. Like, and especially now we have all these. We see like 6 to 8, 7 bilingual announce tables on pay-per-views.
Yeah, remember the days it was just the Spanish news, the Spanish desk.
Yeah.
Now there's the French, the German, the Italian, the
Italian wasn't even there actually, but was the French, the Chinese, sorry, the Mandarin, excuse me,
yeah. Japanese,
the Japanese, the Hindu,
yeah.
Is that what they're language speaking?
Yeah, I think so. No, is it?
Hindi,
I think it is.
Yes, thank you, Hindi. Yeah. The Portuguese,
it's Russian.
The Russian, I think that's it. That I can remember anyway.
Obviously, there's the German. Yeah, we said.
Germany one of the main ones actually. So they must be getting a real big audience. But that's the thing; it's getting big so everywhere, and so many other countries. Like, it's weird for us because Ireland is between the United States and the UK, which are the 2 biggest. You could argue, bar Japan, the 2 biggest wrestling, bar Mexico even. But we're certainly 2 of the biggest wrestling countries in the world. And we see and get all this and thinking, well, where are you making all your money from? If it was elsewhere, I'm not saying like the rest of the other countries wouldn't be unaware of it, but at the same time, they'd be like, you know... I
find it fishy, but... Like, you can say that on Twitter all you like, but I haven't seen the numbers yet to actually prove it.
Yeah, true. But going back to the Kevin Nash story, as I said, like, I think he's... Like, it's one of these things where... I sense he probably looks at it in. I get the feeling from that quote, looking at it, it's like maybe he still looks at Young Bucks and think, "Oh, where's the originality? Why did you not make up your own thing?" But at the same time, look what happens to it. They've created something out of it.
But the thing is, Kevin Nash can't say that because he says himself in the piece that you just read out that they took it from when Sean Waltman saw it in a bar with two guys doing it.
Yeah, in the biker gang.
So it's not original because someone else had done it too. So you can't really say that either.
It's like everything is a remix nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything is found
So
something.
it's very, very hard nowadays to have something original. You know,
It's not impossible though.
it's not. No, I didn't say it was possible. No, I didn't say that. But yes, it is. It is very difficult.
Yeah, but we'll digress.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, we'll move on. A story about Alexa Bliss this week.
Yeah, in an interview with Bleacher Report, WWE Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss discussed several topics, including why she believes that she is still a work-in-progress type wrestler, despite her accomplishments since coming to the main roster. Dave is very excited about this. I'm still working on
Not
my
a reason to think, by the way, but go on.
I'm still working on my in-ring ability. I know I'm not the best in-ring. I try to get better with every match. I go to the WWE Performance Center and try to refresh my skills and learn new ones and bring them into my matches. Opportunities, you have to make the most of them. You have to run with it. And I know I was one of the most underwhelming draft picks because I hadn't done much on NXT. I hadn't had a takeover match. I hadn't won the title. I had valeted the majority of my career. And I knew I just had to kick the door down.
I tell you what, I have so much respect for Alexa Bliss now after this.
Yeah?
Because she admits she is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
I have critiqued her for her in-ring like I never criticize her mic because she's amazing at that, but she's bang on what she's saying. Like, she was mostly a valet, like, but by and large
Blake and Murphy, wasn't it?
yeah, like most of like pretty much, like, it was only pretty much towards the last 3 to 6 months in her NXT career where she finally got some in-ring matches. Like, you know, it was by and large the same for Carmella as well. Like she was mostly associated with Enzo and Kaz at the time until she got some singles action. But yeah, like, it's good now it's good now she's still working on it as well, because you think, because when you look back at the draft, she was one of the surprise picks.
I think she was the last one to be drafted as well.
She wasn't. I think Carmella was the last pick, but she was one of the surprise picks all the same.
Yeah.
Now she is by far and away the most successful women's wrestler since the draft. She's the only one who's won both Raw and SmackDown titles.
I missed that draft. That was a really good draft system that they had set up.
Yeah, but it's one of these things you can't do too often.
I know, once a year, like, but then they did the Superstar Shake-Up, which was fun in a sense, but I just missed, like, especially in the old days when they used to have it when Flair McMahon had Raw and SmackDown themselves too. Just the draft system, I think, was just so good.
Yeah.
Where they had, like, people take matches, Raw versus SmackDown in a match, and then it would be the winner would get a pick and stuff. But anyway, going back to this, yeah, I totally agree that Alexa Bliss discussing that she knows she's not there yet, which is fantastic.
Don't get me wrong, she's improving.
Yeah, they obviously see something in her to put not just the Raw Championship but also the SmackDown one.
Yeah, absolutely.
SmackDown as well. They feel comfortable with her in the sense that she can carry the division, and for a girl that hasn't been in it a long time, like, she was just a cheerleader beforehand. I think she was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
I have no idea.
If I'm right, I'm open to be wrong, but and then she was a valet, and then she just became a wrestler, has been a 3-time women's champion already.
Goes to show you.
It's fantastic, and, like, if she does get any better and stuff like that, she could be definitely in the conversation as probably one of the best female wrestlers of all time if she keeps going the path that she's going.
She's already done something that, as I said, that no woman has ever done, and that's or at least no one's ever done. She's won both Raw and SmackDown women's titles. No one can ever take that away from her. Not even Charlotte can claim it, despite all her credentials. Sasha Banks can claim it despite all credentials. Here's Alexa Bliss, who admits freely that she's not the best wrestler that they have, but she's probably the most fortunate. But she takes advantage of the opportunities, and that I can more than respect. So credit to her, like, for that. Let's move on. In a health update, WWE Raw superstar Roman Reigns, who was pulled over the weekend from the Tables, Ladders and Chairs pay-per-view due to illness, we'll talk about it in more detail when we talk about TLC, is expected to return before the Survivor Series pay-per-view on November 19th, according to a report from Pro Wrestling Sheet. As mentioned several times over the weekend, Reigns, along with Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas and ring announcer Jojo Offerman, have all been pulled from the pay-per-view due to the illness. The report states that while this is the current time frame of Reigns' return, it is always possible that, for storyline purposes, that he is kept off WWE television until after the Survivor Series pay-per-view. To be fair, the way they booked everything around WWE, it wouldn't be entirely missed. Like they could do without them, like, you know, especially considering the matches that were booked so far.
I think any other time in the year I would agree with you, but now that they have just
do you think this is a bad time of the year now? Survivor Series?
Not just because Survivor Series, just because they've just done the Shield reunion.
Yeah,
that's why it makes the timing horrible.
That's only really thing, but they're working around it at least. Like they're trying the best efforts. It's one of these things that, like, sure, it sucks, but at the same time it's against their control. Yeah. If it's injured or an illness like that, especially one as serious as that, the one they have, like, they can't take a chance on it.
That's very true.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what Roman Reigns' impact would have been, though, if he's still involved. Like, you know, even if he's going to be involved in the Survivor Series, we don't know. But imagine what he would be like. The
rumors are, if he is okay and if everything's fine with him, he will be in the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. So, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what sort of reaction he gets if he is that, because he'll just be the guy by himself. He won't have Seth and Dean there, because obviously they have their match with the Usos. Yeah, absolutely. Unless they're planning a title change soon. Who knows? So again, but it's also interesting how they'll lead it, because, like, you think a lot of the booking that between now we go on to WrestleMania would start here, and like and maybe if they involve Reigns somehow, then make a mentioning him without him being there, Goldberg to effect, if you like maybe it could still work, but it'll be interesting to see how it gets on all the same. But we'll move on. Some news about Jeff Jarrett this week. Yeah, those who probably are aware, Jeff Jarrett has recently cut ties with Impact Wrestling. Him and Global Force Wrestling have cut ties, but as Dave Meltzer confirmed in this week's edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Jeff Jarrett has also checked into a rehab facility. Meltzer wrote that Jarrett came to grips with the fact that he had a problem with Karen Jarrett working with WWE officials to set up the rehab stay. Of course, it's WWE doing this. The decision comes after Garrett allegedly showed up late, with Garrett saying he was held up at customs for 3 hours, was drinking and passed out backstage, and then wrestled while in no condition to perform at a show for Real Canada Wrestling in Calgary last Friday. Garrett also missed their show in Edmonton the next day as he returned to the States. Before the news was checking into rehab before the news about Jarrett checking into rehab became public, WrestleCade also announced yesterday that he wouldn't be appearing in any of their events in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on November 24th, 25th and 26th due to personal reasons. Impact Wrestling revealed earlier this week that Jarrett was officially no longer with the company and that their rebrand into Global Force Wrestling was no longer happening, though Meltzer notes that he first heard about what happened with Jarrett over the weekend. It's sort of sad in a way, because like, you know, although Jeff Jarrett doesn't always get the greatest press, you do feel sorry for him, like, you know, especially someone whose experience as he is, falling down like the route of alcoholism, and at least he's getting help. Yeah. There's something so ironic about the fact that WWE are helping. I know, it was, to be fair, it was his lowest point there at the AAA what do they call it? Is it Wrestling Mania or something? Triple Mania, thank you. Event where he was drunk coming down, and he proceeded to throw tortillas into the crowd. Oh dear me. Some people said it was him just acting like a heel. Said no, he was drunk and he was acting like a dick, pretty much. And so hopefully he does get the help he needs to beat this. And where's DDP when you need him? DDP is on the first plane over now to wherever this rehab facility is, and they're going to make a film out of it. Not suggesting he's in bad shape. I mean, if he's still in wrestling shape, he might not need that, but certainly it'll cleanse his mind and stuff like that. Well, it's not to cleanse the mind. That's why Scott Hall did it, because he was drinking himself into a coffin. So. Pretty much, yeah. I think Jake the Snake had a problem with drugs as well. So he did, yeah, but he was more just severely unfit, and he just couldn't walk or couldn't move anywhere. Yeah, really good documentary. You should watch that. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. I've never seen it. Like, you know, it's ironic because I do follow DDP's yoga. Like, I do it in my spare time, but I haven't had a chance to actually follow the documentary as such. But something to check out all the same.
Excuse me. Now moving on. Over in PWG over in California, Ricochet has defeated Chuck Taylor to win the PWG title last Saturday. A report from Dave Meltzer said the following: a very different match from what you'd think. Ricochet worked as a heel and just followed a different type of bound that he usually does. He got the pin to win the title with a low blow and belt shot. Then the referee had a consolation or the match to be restarted. Usually that means a quick babyface win, but they went 13 more minutes. Taylor then undid the rope. I guess the story that Ricochet can't do his best moves with a top rope. He still did a shooting star press and a 450 off the middle rope for near falls. He then did a ton of big moves and near falls back and forth, including a tease about another pin after a low blow. Ricochet then won with a rock bottom like move. Nobody expected Ricochet to win after he did the restart, he said, and keep in mind this was as a heel, that everyone was wrong and that he's going nowhere, and winning the belt proves it. So it's very interesting booking. This is why PWG are one of the best promotions in the world. Certainly the best one, because their booking is incredible.
Yeah,
it is spot on. That's no wonder Dave Meltzer so highly rates them so much, like in their match quality.
Yeah.
First of all, to have like a heel that to have such a heel win like that, and the heel will still win it when it's restarted. But also because of all the speculation toward that Ricochet has had over the last while, where he's gone to WWE or not.
Well, to be honest, there was reports now that supposedly he is not taking any indie bookings after January.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, I think what he did was a nice thing for the crowd to say that, but I think actually it is happening.
It's probably just be like, you have the title now. It's nice to have the title, but you probably lose it by the end of the year then.
Obviously, yeah, I think so. Like, Donovan Jiniak did the same thing. He told people after a certain date, I'm not taking indie bookings anymore. So it's going along the same lines as this for Ricochet. It's
all too familiar.
Yeah.
All too familiar. We'll see him at the NXT takeover that the Rumble are doing, I suppose.
At the Rumble, possibly, actually. Yeah. That's a good show.
He won't be straight in the main roster. I imagine it'll be
that'll
NXT
be
first.
Takeover Philadelphia, because it's in Philadelphia.
The Royal
Rumble is in Philadelphia.
It's been in Philadelphia a few times before, hasn't it?
It was there. It was the infamous year that Roman won it.
Was that in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it was in Philadelphia, and that's a really hot wrestling crowd as well. So they're going back there. I think they're going to try to put things right.
Good point. I think no the reason they'd be going there, I suppose. Yeah, but imagine. It
wasn't always sunny in Philadelphia that night. Sorry, I had to get it in.
But no, it was, I think, also going back to 2004. That was the same Rumble that He Shall Not Be Named won it. Because Benoit.
Was that Philadelphia?
I'm pretty certain it was. I might be wrong, but I'm certain it was. Had a great last man standing match between Shawn Michaels and Triple H as well. But there you go. Anyway, moving on. Some much nicer news concerning The Miz and Maurice this week.
Yeah, in a series of posts on their social media accounts, WWE Intercontinental Champion The Miz and his wife Maurice revealed the gender of their first child, informing everyone that they're having a girl.
That's fantastic news.
Congratulations to Miz and Maurice.
The It Baby is a girl.
It Baby is a girl.
They actually had some very good pictures. If you actually checked out their Instagram, they had like a cake they were carrying around, and
the inside was the colour of the the inside was the colour of the gender, so pink would be a girl and blue would be a boy.
Oh, very clever.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's actually pretty awesome way of doing it.
They did I think it was like a fairy tale type theme that it was a princess and a prince that they were. I think, who was it? It was Avril Lavigne and her boyfriend. I can't tell who it is. Can't remember who it is. Was she dressed up? They dressed up as Miz and Maurice for it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
So that's probably why they did that, I suppose. So it was such a good idea, we had to see it.
Yeah. So really, really good news from. They better name the child Michelle or Melanie or something. It has to be another M.
Michelle.
Michelle. Yes. Or just Mary. Just Mary. Marie.
Or Mizzy.
Marie.
Or Mizzy.
Mizzy.
Yeah.
Mizzy.
Yeah. Or instead of Missy, it's Mizzy.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Could be.
That child will be scarred for life.
But yeah. But if they're really an it couple, they'd name their child in an incredibly obsolete way.
Oh yeah, like
what's David Beckham's last child?
Cruz, wasn't it?
No. It was like something Harper 7 or something like that.
Oh, wasn't it? Yeah, Harper 7 or something.
Something daft like that. Where it sounds like a wrestler's name, essentially.
I was going to say, like, they could just name it, like, Mr. Continental.
Mr. Continental.
Mr. Continental.
He'll have the W have no choice out of empathy to give him the Intercontinental title for the rest of his career. But there you go. Anyway, to a more serious story, but probably the most intriguing story in the week for me. Like after having read this story, it's an amazing story. I'll read it in detail. New Japan Pro Wrestling star and current IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion Davey Boy Smith Jr., real name Harry Smith, noted on his social media channels that he stopped a distraught woman from jumping off a bridge in his hometown in Calgary, Alberta, Canada over the weekend. Smith spoke in his official Facebook page saying, and I quote, "I saved a life today and I'm grateful I was able to do so. When driving up 16th Avenue past Bounds Road in Calgary, I saw a girl crying and hanging off the bridge with someone trying to talk to her. I stopped and jumped the barricade and tried talking to the girl, and she was crying an emotional mess and threatened to jump if I got closer. While people are on the round waving her not to jump, I decided to grab a hold of her and not take any chances. She started to slide and wanted to go more as I grabbed a hold of her. Luckily, from my years of grappling and self-defense, I knew to grab her hard and how to pull her up from hanging off and jumping. I knew not to grab her clothing because it would have teared through it. When I yanked her off the bridge finally, I established the mount position as you do in grappling and did not let her budge." Smith also noted that she held the woman down until police arrived and then told everyone that life is a precious thing and never take it for granted. Smith said that he was glad that he was in service to help someone for his years of grappling came into play. It's a very uplifting story when you think about it. Like, it's rare, especially someone from the wrestling industry. And here's Davey Boy Smith, who's at least a second generation star behind Davey Boy Smith Senior. And seeing something like that, it's amazing. Like how something like that can just come along and like you can just save a woman's life, from committing suicide and stuff like that. So
yeah,
there's not much more you can say to it, really, is there?
No, it's kind of hard. Like, obviously you can't. It's not that you can't comment. There's nothing to really comment about on the story. It's a really, really good story.
It's a really uplifting story. Like,
fair play to Davey Boy Smith. Fantastic. Like, a lot of people, I think 9 out of 10 people would just keep on walking.
That's it.
Which is the horrible thing to say, but it's the truth.
And here's Davey Boy Smith, as I said, because he's a pro wrestler, and you'd like to think because pro wrestlers, like, I'm not saying they're the most ignorant people in the world at times, but they're certainly the type of guys that wouldn't be as humble as you think. If that makes sense. Certain ones. I'm not suggesting they're all like that. I'm just saying you'd think because they're lying their work and the fame they establish, it's easy to get to people's heads. But and here's him who's like is almost the opposite to do something like that. Like, it's really amazing stuff. So, but we'll move on with our last story of the week, and it's a very controversial story this week. Yes,
people might be already aware of this from earlier on in the week from comments made on Twitter, but former What Culture host Adam Blompier has been let go from his new venture, Cultaholic. The statement came from Cultaholic's official Twitter page, and the statement read, as of Friday, October 27, 2017, Adam Blompier's employment with Cultaholic Ventures Limited has been terminated with immediate effect. Blompier had announced earlier this week that he would be taking a leave of absence from the YouTube channel for personal reasons. In a statement, he explained how he used his YouTube fame to exploit women for his own personal means. Despite the comments, Cultaholic have taken the steps to release Blompier and will still go live as planned on November the 1st.
It's such a shame, isn't it? It's because...
No, I don't think it's a shame. I feel that it's exactly what he deserved.
I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Like, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to be let go. Obviously, he did. But considering what he's done with his with the What Culture page and the fame he's gained from it, and to exploit it like that, it's awful.
Exactly. This, like, what you do has to have repercussions.
Indeed.
And for him to say, like, I'll be honest, I'm not too aware of the backstory in terms of why this statement came out from him during the week. I don't know. Maybe a few people have been saying things on Twitter about it, or maybe a few people have finally come forward.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I don't know, maybe he's feeling guilty after the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. I don't know.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't
it could
know.
Be something,
Yeah.
It could be easily something like that because it's around the same time.
But like he did go into comments about how he told various women that him and his girlfriend had an open relationship, which he obviously didn't.
Which wasn't the case, yeah.
But yeah, like you've got to deal with the repercussions of what you do, and what he did was like it was just horrible.
Yeah.
You know, because if that was in any other way, if that was any other person, like if that was say me or you, and we did that, no, so we don't have any fame.
No.
We don't have any claim to fame at all. Like,
we're both single anyway, so.
But you know, we wouldn't expect to go on doing a podcast after that either.
No.
And just the fact that he should not be expected then to just keep his job, despite the fact, even though he gave this little comment saying, "Oh, I'm going to take a leave of absence for a while." If you read through the lines of it, taking a leave of absence would be, "I'm just going to lie low until the heat dies down, then I'm going to come back."
But it doesn't. For what he did, it doesn't work like that. Like, you know.
No. But in a lot of cases, that is the case. That is what happens.
He's chancing his arm there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're saying, "No, I'm sorry."
No, and the guys have come out and said, "Exactly. No, I'm sorry. That's not happening. You're gone."
Yeah, it's either that or this whole thing is crumpled because you're on this and people will question us for this reason alone and not give a damn what we talk about.
I just wonder, I'm not saying like if there was less of a backlash, rightly so, there was a huge backlash of this.
Naturally.
But the thing is, Cultaholic had to do it.
Yeah, they had no choice.
They had no choice because if you were in a startup like this, they can't have anything like this hanging over.
The situation puts them in a bad. It puts them in doesn't put them in an easy position either because they're going to have to move on and work through this.
Yeah, and a lot of the people in Cultaholic are friends with Adam, Blampied as well.
Yeah, so it's not going to be easy for them to move on. Like obviously, like so, wish them all the best. Obviously,
I'd make the guess that at least probably this time next year, we'll see him on a different YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, realistically, do you think we'll ever see him on YouTube, or at least to that extent, like that, that in the background? Really?
I think so.
Let's hope he.
The thing is, people's memories are short. They are.
Not all of them, though.
Not all of them, but the vast majority are.
Well, if he does take his rehab seriously, I think we should.
Is he actually going to rehab for it? Did he say he was?
Apparently, yeah. I think he said that in the statement. If he is, then I'll just say let's hope he takes it seriously because what he did was wrong, and I don't want to say any more.
Oh, it was horrendous. Yeah.
Now let's move on now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
So we'll talk about WWE tables, ladders, and chairs. To say this pay-per-view is unpredictable would be an understatement, I think, when you look at the whole...
Not for me, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, right. I suppose the word predict is a kind of ironic word to mention.
Yeah,
right
wasn't it? Because, see, Dave, after last week, and if people paid attention to her Twitter account,
you know, I expected this from you. I expected you to gloat over this. I really did.
Just let it happen, Dave. Let it happen.
You know what? I admit, you deserve this lead. I can't argue at that, but honest to God, I need a miracle. I need a miracle. I can't.
Oh.
I can't, I need a miracle unless it's other than that, I'll be taking 10 chaps.
Yep. So, yes.
But we'll get on.
Are you aware of American football, Dave?
I am aware of American football.
Okay. Are you aware of the rules and how it happens? Yes.
How
it happens, how a game proceeds and stuff. Okay.
Ish. I'm not fully familiar with the rules, but go on.
We are in a situation right now where I am the leading team.
Okay.
I have the ball.
Yeah.
I'm on 1st and 10. I have 4 downs until I have to give you the ball back.
Yeah.
To give you a chance to win.
Right.
I am in what's called victory formation, Dave.
Are you now? You're playing defensive now.
Victory formation.
You're playing defensive, are you?
The lead has extended. It was 9. It's now up to
16 or something like that.
18 points now, Dave.
18 points? Oh.
18 points, Dave. You have 2 events left.
It's not looking
NXT War Games, which is notoriously hard to predict any NXT TakeOver show.
Which is also Survivor Series.
Survivor Series as
which
well.
Which is also notoriously difficult
which
to pick.
is a load of one-off matches.
So far.
Yeah.
So far. Like, we don't know
it's going to be a big card.
The elimination matches, though.
It's going to be a big card. But the thing is, Dave, this is... I was thinking about it the other day, and this is one thing that's really, really going against you.
What?
There's no title matches at Survivor Series. There's no chance for double points.
You should count champion versus champion.
Oh, no, don't even try that. No. Oh, no.
Oh, this is why as I said, I need a miracle.
Anyway, let's move on.
We'll talk about pre-show. We'll talk about very quickly. Drew Gulak tried to protest his time being cut to continue his presentation for Bellator 205 Live, but was quickly interrupted by the pre-show panel. Then the match itself. Then during a match, Alicia Fox took on Sasha Banks. Started as almost a near cat fight.
I thought this was probably one of the best pre-show matches we've seen in a while.
I agree. It was actually a pretty good match.
Yeah.
Alicia tried to ask for forgiveness during the match, but Sasha was having none of it. It was actually, but see, a lot of people underestimate, I think, Alicia for her matches. But that's that tilt-a-whirl slam that Alicia gave Sasha on the outside, for example,
which she then tried to pin straight away.
I know, although she seemed so proud of it. She did a bit of.
It was really good. So, yeah,
did a bit of a ginger there, like where she's so proud of a move, like, and. It's kind of like opposite to Randy Orton. He does his best RKO ever, and he doesn't pin. He's so thrilled by the whole thing. But I always said Alicia Fox is the best Northern Light suplex in wrestling, in my opinion. Her technique is flawless for us.
Yeah.
And in the end, though, it was Sasha who submitted Alicia with her bank statements to win in a good match. It was a very good match, as was the first match of the evening between Asuka and Emma. Very good match. Emma really showed up for this, like, you know.
Yeah. I had a theory about this.
Okay.
Because a lot of people expected we expected Asuka to win,
of course,
but a lot of people expected Asuka to destroy Emma.
She didn't. It was a very competitive match.
She didn't, and I can understand why.
Well,
first of all, the match quality itself, both were really fantastic. Actually, it's probably
very good wrestling sequences.
Probably the best match Emma's had. I've seen it in WWE.
Certainly in the main roster.
Yeah. I think,
in fact, it was actually her first ever singles match in pay-per-view. You know that?
Was it?
On WWE pay-per-view, it was her first ever singles match.
That's crazy for the time that she's been there. That's mental.
Yeah, she's had so many injury problems. That's her thing, and she's been all those multiple matches in WrestleMania.
Yeah, true.
It was only NXT when she had her real singles success against Paige and the likes. So,
the reason, my thoughts behind this and the booking of this, and why Vince probably booked it this way, is he still wanted to show the divide between NXT and the main roster. He wanted to show that divide, that it's not the same level, there is a step up, and he wanted to still show off that even the lower down women are still stronger than the women on NXT.
I see.
Which you can understand.
Totally. But the thing is, what's the difference between this then and, let's say, I don't know, like Finn Balor when he first got called up and Shinsuke Nakamura getting the WWE title shots, as opposed to Asuka who's coming undefeated.
Well, to be fair, if you look at it, when Finn just started out as well, he was having a lot of tough matches. He was getting through them,
but he won them.
Now we don't know how the booking would have went after that, obviously because of this surgery. But Nakamura has had a lot of close matches against the likes of Dolph Ziggler. You know, the booking was very 50-50 and stuff like that, and people were annoyed by that. And I'm one of those people that was too, just because. Maybe it's more because, like, it's not the Nakamura we want to see more than anything else, more than the booking.
No, I want to see Nakamura kicking ass, obviously. Like,
exactly.
So. Yeah, but as I said, Emma made a huge impression with this match in her offense. Some really good reversals, like there's some reversal from the ankle lock, where eventually hitting an ankle trap German suplex from Asuka, and eventually she submitted Emma with her Asuka lock for the win in a very good match. And they had a rematch later the next night that was just as good. Not just as good, but it was up there as well. So
yeah.
So I'll be very interested to see how they book Asuka in future. Like, you know, I think it won't be plain sailing to the women's title by the looks of things.
No,
certainly if you're
no, probably not. She'll have to work her way there anyway.
Now, Elias took on Jason Jordan after a lot of stuff in the pre-show and lead up to this match. Like, during the pre-show, Elias requested that he have a performance, while Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle were talking backstage about the TLC match. During Elias's performance, Jordan threw a shopping cart, threw fruit and veg at Elias, which interrupted him. Later on, Elias returned with a song to a divided reaction from the crowds, where they were mostly booing whilst slighting Minneapolis. Like, he always gets a mixed crowds.
He does, yeah.
I think it's because people. It's like the
a lot of people are starting to turn on him, though. That's the thing.
Well, I think like people
like
just,
in a good way, obviously.
Yeah, but I think people just like it because it's a different act, like, you know, and because it's a musical performance, they try and encourage it because it annoys other people. Like, some fans are like that, maybe, I don't know.
True.
But Jordan once again interrupted them by throwing more fruit and veg and then forcing him to retreat to the stage to huge cheers. Actually, like, it was mostly boos in this case.
Yeah.
And before the main event, Elias played to the ring, looking very cautious. Eventually having a go at Jason Jordan for playing childish pranks because he never had a daddy growing up before his match with Jordan. And it seemed like the commentators were consistently contradicting each other. Have you noticed that during this match? Like, it seemed like the most interesting part of this match, and I don't mean this to any disrespect to Jordan and Elias, it was actually Michael Cole, Corey Graves and Booker T debating about, like, here's Booker T saying, oh, well, you know, it's his son, he has to prove himself. And here's Corey Graves, but he is proving himself. Like, that sort of thing. So it seemed like that was the most
the Booker T has been very salty towards Jason Jordan the whole time.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. I don't know why.
It's so weird. It's weird for this match because, like, here is Corey Graves, who's traditionally a heel commentator, and here is Michael Cole, who's traditionally a face commentator, at least in this case. And he likes, and they're even debating about Elias's music. Michael Cole's in love with Elias's music, as opposed to Corey Graves, who can't stand it. Like, you know.
Well, Corey Graves, that's just continuing on from how it was in NXT.
Oh, even then.
He hated it in NXT, so.
What was the quote? Was again? I hope someone gets like a sledgehammer and drills my ears. I'd rather go through that than listen to his music again. But it seemed like the commentators were constantly contradicting each other. But you're right. Like, I noticed Booker T in particular seems to be having a go at Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, you know. But Jordan ended up beating Elias after reversing a suplex into a cradle by a controversial pinfall, which seems to appear that Elias kicked out of. Like, he seemed to have a shoulder up just before that. So. Now, Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher took on the team of Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann. Gallagher's new theme suits him, actually. Suits the character very well.
Yeah, well, he kind of had to change it. Having that music was not going to work for a heel.
yeah, Torador doesn't work as a heel. It could, but I don't think in this case.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's too nice for it. It's too uplifting.
Yeah.
Awesome high flying and team offense from Swann Alexander. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's a shame. Like, one of the biggest criticisms I think we both have of 205 Live is it doesn't extend past their own booking. Like, it's only they're against each other and that's it.
Yeah.
Imagine how Alexander and Swann could do as a tag team against whoever else in the main tag team division. It would be amazing.
Oh yeah, it'd be fantastic. But it's not going to happen because obviously you have to be over a certain weight and you have to.
It shouldn't apply though. It really shouldn't.
I know, but
because especially and performances like this should make Vince think otherwise. It really should. Like, you know, they have this type of tag team, which it would be a breath of fresh air, especially if they get a run for the title. Like, who knows? Excellent performance from Alexander in particular. Again, speaking Alexander in particular, I think he should definitely get a title shot. He definitely should be in the title picture.
He's gonna be in the line. It's gonna be obviously Kalisto. I think Kalisto obviously got his rematch on Tuesday. It'll probably be Mustafa Ali next.
Maybe. Yeah. I think Alexander is by far the most deserving, in my opinion, by his performances as of late as well. A very entertaining match in the end. Alexander pinned Kendrick after his lumbar check for the win. Now, Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James for the Raw Women's title. Bliss used her experience to put Alexa out of her game, including a spank to the arse. Some very good striking sequences from both ladies. Both are very good. Like particularly Mickie James, she uses her kicks very effectively as well. But despite a very good effort from Mickie, it was Alexa who took advantage of Mickie being distracted by the ref's call to put her into the turnbuckle and then finish her off with her DDT for the pinfall win to retain her title. This is actually probably the best match I've seen Alexa Bliss in. Like, we talked about how we talked about in the news how she's constantly, she's still the work in progress. It's showing now. It really is.
Yeah. I think it's just because she has someone like, she has a veteran like.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Like Mickie James there to help her through. Like, it didn't click the first couple of times, but it is starting to now.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, spending more time in the performance center together.
Which makes sense why they have the rivalry now. I think we're both a bit confused why Mickie James as opposed to maybe a Bayley or a Sasha Banks is in the title run, but no, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Post-match, Mickie said that despite her defeat, it will not be her last title shots, which is refreshing to see.
It was kind of a weird speech, wasn't it?
It wasn't a retirement speech. Didn't feel like it.
Yeah,
though.
I know. It was very strange. It was exactly like a retirement speech, but it wasn't a retirement speech. But you could have sworn it was a retirement speech, but then she made it clear that it wasn't a retirement speech. Very, very, very odd.
Indeed.
Very odd.
Kalisto took on Enzo Amore for the Cruiserweight Championship. A rusty sounding Enzo Amore, ironically enough.
Yeah, someone should tell him to lay off the 20 packs a day. Or 20 fags a day, I should say.
Which came to heads because I think by 205 Live, it was Ariel Daivari speaking for him. Which is actually a nice change, actually. I'm open to it. Very quick-paced match from the start. Some good ground wrestling from Enzo to neutralize Kalisto's high-flying attacks. Enzo Amore, even though he's almost like the Alexa Bliss of the Cruiserweights. If that makes sense. Very great, amazing talker. Yeah. But we question his ability in the ring. But he's actually a very good wrestler. I think he's improving a lot.
I'm still to be convinced. I still think he looks really bad.
He's capable. He's capable enough in the ring to be Cruiserweight champion, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't think so.
His charisma, though, is second to very few, though, in my opinion.
I still think
for sure.
It's very poor.
I won't say it's definitely not poor.
It is.
It's not. It's not like world class standards, but it's definitely good enough.
I don't even think it's good enough. I'm sorry, I just don't.
That's fair enough. That's your opinion. Clever Mako when Enzo jumped off the turnbuckle instead of diving on Kalisto. That's one of his strengths. Though, it's like he uses his comedic elements very well. Like his charisma is second to very few.
His heel element. It's not charisma.
To extent it is charisma. Because it's his idea of doing that. When the ref tried to pull the apron back together after Enzo pulled it in the ring, trying to escape from Kalisto, Enzo foams Kalisto in the eye before pinning him following the Jadozo, he called it. The Donzo, he calls it, to win back this Cruiserweight title.
Say that's 5 times. Quickly.
Jadonzo, 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 Jadonzo.
Okay.
It's easier than you think. Post-match, Enzo thanked himself for the victory rather than the crowds. Now, AJ Styles versus Finn Balor.
Yeah.
You say it like you're not sure.
No, I'm saying as in I'm agreeing with it. It's great.
It's as good.
Love it. I love it. It's the best match Finn has had since he's been on the main roster.
Oh, by far and away.
Yeah.
By far and away. It's probably his best. It's definitely his best match this year, but it's as good as a technical wrestling match you can get this year, certainly from WWE. I think the only real... I still lean towards AJ and John Cena being the best match WWE have had this year. Certainly one-on-one. But this is not far away either. This is probably two or three up there as well. So Booker T couldn't have put it better. When at the start of the match, this match needs no introduction, and it really didn't. No. Two global stars, the Bullet Club founder against the leader who made it cool, essentially. And the chants were counting, "This is awesome" before the match even started. Chanting "Too sweet" as the match started, and it's one of these matches that you're just in awe of the whole time. Yeah, when watching this match, you have to watch it several times to really get analysis on it. It's an awe. It's a match it's a dream match that just happened out of nowhere. It was strange in a way because it was unfamiliar. It's like every time we watch a match, especially a big match that's like a WrestleMania worthy match, a Wrestle Kingdom worthy match. Even so, if we watch an OTT, you get an idea because it's build up. This is 2 days build up, and you have a match like that. Yep. It's very refreshing in a way, isn't it?
Well, look, it's just, this is the great thing about, this is the thing that we should see more of from wrestlers in WWE, where, these guys, Tanner Best, these guys says, right, you have 23 minutes.
Go.
Do something.
Exactly.
They did.
Most importantly of all, when was the last time the WWE crowds were so captivated by this match? They were chanting the whole time.
Yep.
You rarely see that in WWE crowds nowadays, no matter how big the match is. Obviously, by the end, it builds up. But this is from start to finish. The crowd went nuts for it.
Yeah. It was a fantastic match all around. Some of the spots were fantastic.
Yeah.
Finn, that coup de grace, he just stamped his feet into...
Literally.
into AJ's chest. He actually probably put an indent in his chest.
Yeah, but there's AJ's Pele kick on Finn before he hit a springboard Frankensteiner on Finn as well. That almost won the match. It's just stuff like that. It's
just brilliant. They
technical
definitely took a huge element of their days in Japan and
absolutely
brought that into it. And
what a moment in the end, though, when they both did the two sweets.
yeah,
Very symbolic moments there. That's probably
and I should give a shout out as well to Phil Cotter, isn't it?
who?
Is
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Phil Cotter, yeah, he does his artwork. He does actually amazing artwork of everyone.
Fantastic,
like,
and he did a two sweet piece.
Yeah, diamond shaped. Yeah,
between Finn and AJ. If you want to check it out, you should check out his Twitter. It's at Philip Cotter Art.
Yeah, it's the same on Instagram as well. Find all his work on that.
Give him a follow, and then he has other pieces there which are fantastic as well. He did a piece actually I saw earlier on today. He did a piece just for Stranger Things.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did 11. He drew 11.
Okay, I must
Really
check that
good.
out. I didn't
Really
see that
good.
one yet. I must check it out though.
But yeah, the two sweet with Finn and AJ, fantastic.
That's probably one of the moments of the year. One of the moments of the year for me, anyway. So from one of the finest technical matches we've seen this year to probably the damn craziest match ever.
Just a big cluster F.
Couldn't have said it better. Kurt Angle, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns against The Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Kane in a TLC handicap match. 17 years to the night that Kurt Angle won his first WWE title, by the way, against The Rock. But by God, this match was all over the place, wasn't it? It was crazy.
It was chaos.
With a capital C.
It was chaos and it was brilliant. I loved it. I loved it.
It was so strange for me because it felt like everything was delayed. Everything was delayed at some points, like, you know. But at the same time, it was just like madness.
Just that thing was just when they did the entrance, which I loved, with Angle involved. But when Dean and Seth were there at the top of the stairs, and then just Angle comes out after with a big happy smile on his face, raising his arms, just like he just won the lottery to take part in the Shield entrance. You know, he didn't even look. He didn't react like he was a wrestler.
You know what would have been so cool about that? Like, the crowd were chanting "You suck" during the entrance, but you know how it would have been so much cooler if they said "You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck." I have to admit though, and you're going to probably severely disagree with me with this. As cool as it was to see Angle team up with Ambrose and Rollins, I think it was very out of place.
See, I can understand that.
Yeah,
but I think they're holding back the singlet coming out of with the red, white, and blue singlet. I think they're holding that back for its proper comeback match. Obviously, it's not so much the costume. It's more like the way he reacts to the crowds compared to Rollins and Ambrose. It's like he seemed very restrained almost. You know, that was my biggest problem. Like, you know, I don't know what it was. Like because certainly if whatever he lacks physically, like especially like what is he, 48, 49 now? 49.
Yeah. So whatever he lacks in that, he'd make up for charisma, and he's one of the most charismatic wrestlers the WWE ever had. Yeah. And I just felt there were stages where it didn't seem.
The thing is, though,
with it, like,
2 days notice. That's all I'll say. 2 days notice.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. I don't want to make excuse. I don't want to call the 2 days too much of an excuse either. Like, you know, maybe I'm being harsh here, but I don't know.
I think it's a little harsh.
Maybe
it is a little harsh. Like, this guy hasn't been in a ring, in a WWE ring. They made the point of saying a WWE ring for 11 years. Obviously, anyone that has any sense at all knows that he has been in a ring. Indie wrestling. But he hasn't been in the ring since he came back to WWE, which was in April.
And I doubt even when he was in the Indies, he was in very long matches as well.
He was in like 20-minute long matches, alright.
Oh, well,
especially for WCPW, he was.
Oh, okay.
I remember a match he had with Alberto Del Rio or El Patron, I should say.
Okay.
For about 20 minutes.
There you go.
But yeah, he started off hot.
It was a moment.
There's one downside to this. What is wrong with Dean Ambrose and him not being able to hit anyone with a chair? He tapped everyone with chairs. Like, at one point he gave Kane, and it was just like that was it. No, it wasn't even that. It was that's it. That was it. He tapped, and then Kane obviously had to sell it. Oh, I just got hit with a chair. Like, Kane's been hit with much worse, and he obviously had to sell that. Dean, hit the guy with the chair.
Yeah.
Come on. He's been hit numerous times with chairs. He can take it.
Yeah. I hope. I was thinking to myself, when Rollins and Ambrose hit their elbow drops off the ladders, I looked like Rollins injured.
Frog splash, elbow drop. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked like
I thought he was injured as well.
No, but thankfully he wasn't. It was great.
Great selling. Great selling.
It was indeed. It's great to see Angle German suplex everyone as well. That was a moment as well. He gave Kane the ankle lock to chance of you still got it, but then Strowman followed suit by power slamming Kurt to a table.
Yeah.
Kurt had to be carried away from the match by medics while Miz and Co started to dominate the match with constant chair attacks.
Kind of similar to what I thought it would be. He would start off hot, he'd be protected, he'd take some time out of the match, and then he'd come back again. I did half expect him to come back wearing the singlet though.
Really?
Yes. I was kind of not expecting, more maybe in hope than expectation.
Maybe.
But yeah, I kind of hoped maybe, because the music came on and then I was like, oh, Angle's come back, he's going to wear the singlet, he's going to wear the singlet. No, he didn't wear the
Well,
singlet.
it looks like then, it looked like at that point that Rollins and Ambrose were again constantly being attacked by chairs. They started to fight back despite which led to a bit of miscommunication between Kane and Braun, which was later on got a bit more out of hand.
This is why they brought Kane back.
I like it.
I don't know, is this the plan all along, or was this the last minute change because of Roman's health issues?
It'd be easy to think that it could be Roman's health issues, but at the same time, it's not. I welcome it. You know, it's a good plan B. It's a very good plan B.
It is a good plan B. It is a good plan B. I do agree with that. I would prefer the storyline of Roman and Kane.
Of course, right? Oh, Roman Reigns and Kane. Oh, of course, because it's Undertaker and WrestleMania. Of course, yeah. It looked like Ambrose. There was a moment where remember when Cesaro and Sheamus tried to double Razor's Edge Ambrose to the table, it didn't work.
Ambrose had no luck with tables that night.
He smiled, I think, at Cesaro and Sheamus afterwards. Yeah. I think it seemed very obvious at the time.
And then when when Kane tried to double chokeslam him and Seth through tables on the ramp, Seth went through it, but Dean didn't go through his table. He had no luck with tables.
Miz instructed a dumpster truck to come to the side of the stage, but Ambrose and Rollins fought back to jump off the dumpster onto Braun, Kane and the bar, leaving them with the Miz. Then when Kane and Strowman came through, Kane attacked Strowman by chokeslamming him through the stage and then made the chairs lined up as part of the sets to fall down on Strowman. That was actually class.
Yeah.
It was a nice little effect, actually, how that happens. And then later chokeslammed both Ambrose and Rollins through tables. Yeah, you mentioned the table, actually. He didn't go through that at all, you're right. He basically just fell on it and it hit his head badly.
Yeah.
Strowman then came back to attack Kane and everyone else until the four of them attacked Strowman and threw him in the dumpster truck. Miz looked like he regretted it afterwards as well, so...
Yeah, then to the crowd... chanting that was murder
because he was crushed in the...
He was crushed in it's probably been said on every podcast over the last week, but yes, that was murder. They murdered Braun, but Braun's gonna come back.
Yeah, of course. But
See, this
WWE commentary are going to say to us, "Oh, he'll probably be back in weeks. He's going to be back next week."
Yeah, we don't know where Braun is. Of course, you know where Braun is. He's in the dumpster. He's in the. He's still in the truck, probably.
He's somewhere in the Minneapolis scrapyards. I don't know.
I don't like. Okay, so that was silly. All right, it was just silly. Like, it would have worked if you had just thrown him in, not compacted it, and got the thing to drive away.
Yeah.
Fine. But, see, this is the thing. I mentioned this a couple of months ago, after the whole thing with Roman driving the ambulance into the truck and Braun being okay with that and walking away from it. Braun is getting Roman Reigns level booking, where he's out, where he should die, but he's back the next week.
Yeah, but at least with him it's realistic because of his size.
It doesn't matter what size you are. You get put in a garbage truck and you get compacted. It doesn't matter what size you are. You get squished.
I'm obviously trying to sell him as a monster among men for a reason, though. He can survive anything.
I just don't.
He's a Toyota Hilux of wrestlers.
I just no. No.
It'll be interesting to see how he comes back from this. We're not expecting him for 6 weeks.
When he comes back, probably this coming Monday. And
to a huge pop, probably
will be a huge pop. Yeah, which
this is a face turn, I think, for him.
Oh, he turned face during the middle of it.
Absolutely,
definitely he turned face during the middle of it. But I don't think he'd be face. He'd be like a Stone Cold Steve Austin sort of face, where he's not really.
He's still a face. He's still a face. He's not a baby face. He's a face.
No,
so,
he's
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
exactly, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Miz and Co then continued the match by finishing off Rollins and Ambrose before Angle returned to the ring after Angle slamming Sheamus and Cesaro through a table.
Oh, that was brilliant.
That was actually class, yeah. On the rampway, Rollins and Ambrose handled Kane by spearing him through the barricade, and then Miz gave the skull crushing finale to Kurt, but Kurt kicked out. When Miz tried another one, Kurt reversed it into an ankle lock, but Miz countered it until Angle, Rollins, and Ambrose surrounded Miz. They all hit him with the Rainmaker knee, the Dirty Deeds, and the Angle Slam before finishing him off with the Olympic Shield Bomb.
The one problem I had with this as well, when they surrounded the ring, they left, obviously there's 4 sides and they cover 3.
Yeah.
The one side they left free was the one that was going to the ramp and up through to escape, the actual escape route.
I see what you mean. So
yeah, they left that one free, which they shouldn't have.
I didn't notice that, actually, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
What an insane match, though. Like, that's one of the... It was one of the craziest matches WWE ever
I know,
done.
and for a match that I think it was around 40 minutes, was it?
42 minutes, I think
42,
it was, yeah.
42 minutes.
Yeah.
It flew by.
I felt personally...
At
especially,
stages, it did. Like, when they were on the ramp or on the stage, it was a little slow.
Yeah, there were stages where I felt it did drag, but that's because of the situations and trying to put everything together. Yeah. Especially when Kurt was being dragged back and when the situation, I think, between the dumpster as well, between the dumpster and the stage, it felt like their weirdest hardcore match of all time. A very entertaining match.
Which it was, by the way. It was a hardcore match. It wasn't a TLC match.
Absolutely, yeah. It was just a hardcore match. It's with encouraging tables, ladders, and chairs.
That just happened to be the only 3 weapons that was used.
Yeah, pretty much. But there you go. Anyway, we'll continue our results of the week with WWE Raw right after this short break.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on 90.3 Near FM with the Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our results of the week with WWE Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
So for me, there's 3 obvious talking points here regarding the WWE Raw. It was actually a class Raw, like especially for the moments in it, But I first want to talk about the matchups that were made between the Raw champions and the Smackdown champions that Kurt Angle announced at the start of the show. I feel there's more intriguing matches than actual good matchups, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by that? So, for example, like the 2 more intriguing matches would obviously be Miz and Corbin and Brock and Jinder Mahal. I don't think they're good matchups.
Intriguing is another word for bad, but yeah, okay.
I mean intriguing in the sense where it's intriguing because they're both champions. It's US champion versus Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
And in Brock and Jinder's case, it's WWE champion versus Universal champion. But I'm not sure about either match. I'm not sure how it works as a match.
I have no faith in either of those matches. I can't see how Corbin and Miz can have a good match together.
No, I could be wrong. It's weird. It's just they're both heels, and they're both the type of heels I'm not sure.
I would probably hedge my bets on a title change in either the Intercontinental or the US Championship happening soon.
Really?
Yes. Because Vince doesn't like heels versus heels.
Yeah. It's very rare you see it anyway nowadays as well.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
By the record, when was the last time you actually seen a heel versus heel match in WWE?
I don't know.
That's
Brock and Goldberg when both of them were leaving the company.
That's different.
At Mania. I don't know.
Brock was a heel. Goldberg was supposedly booked as a face.
The only face in that was the referee.
Was Stone Cold. You're right.
It was the ref.
No, to be fair, there are obviously some. Like the best match of the matches announced by far is obviously Ambrose and Rollins against the Usos. That's gonna be a hell of a match, actually.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That'd be a class match.
And Alexa Bliss and Natalya, I think, is a very similar match to Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, the experienced wrestler helping Mickie James. Yeah. That can only deliver good things in my view.
Exactly, because like if you put Natalya in a wrestling ring with a paper bag, she'd have a great match with it. Exactly. She knows how to wrestle.
Indeed.
She's a fantastic wrestler.
By far, she's most
booked properly,
wrestler.
She's the best wrestler in that company.
Bar none.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. So that's an intriguing match. But here's Brock and Jinder, which again is one of these matches which you don't. They're both again. Brock is more of a face.
Disqualification finish, hands down. Disqualification finish. That's how it's going to happen, and it's going to be the Sings getting involved.
Of course.
You know,
why did not see that coming? Speaking of Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal, let's talk about Paul Heyman's promo on Jinder Mahal. They came out to respond to the Jinder Mahal's challenge made last week on SmackDown. Heyman, I'll just read out what he said. Heyman said, someone has a problem with the word undisputed, in that Brock is the undisputed champion. The same someone who barely survived the challenges of Orton, Nakamura, and is now planning to barely beat AJ Styles, compared to Brock, who is the champion of arguably the most stacked heavyweight division in WWE's history. He actually has a point on that. Think of the competition. Reigns, Rollins, Joe, Strowman.
Yep.
He has a point. Heyman continued saying that Mahal is a make-believe Maharaja, with the Sing-Along brothers doing their impressions of Heyman by introducing Mahal, and is nothing compared to Brock as any equal counterpart champion or even pretender to the throne. Heyman then sees great champions, past WWE champions such as Sammartino, Hogan, Savage, Flair, Cena and Lesnar, and continued by calling Mahal a consolation champion after SmackDown suffered the worst in the draft, and Mahal's going to Suplex City as he disputes Brock being the undisputed champion. Heyman concluded by saying that by reminding Mahal that Brock has violated all the rules and regulations of the PG era the last time he faced a SmackDown opponent, which was Orton at SummerSlam last year.
Yeah.
Talk about a burial. That was a burial.
Yeah.
And always, and when you look at the response that Mahal gave on SmackDown, like here's my main concern about about the whole promo. Is it a bad sign of where the match will go?
Yeah.
That's my main concern, because if they roast him to such a degree, that can only mean good booking then for Mahal. Why?
I don't know.
Like
they're just protecting him so he doesn't have to defend the title until they come back from India. He's not losing that title until Royal Rumble.
I don't mind them keeping it to Royal Rumble, if I'm honest with you, because the appeal of him being WWE champion is because of his reign and the way he is, and that does make for a good heel champion. It's just in this match though, I'm concerned where the booking's going.
It's like I said, it's going to a disqualification finish. It's going to Brock Lesnar dominating Jinder Mahal. Because like I said last week, when Brock and Paul Heyman aren't into a program, they down tools and they'll just do whatever they want, and they won't care about what Vince wants. And Vince wants his he wants his Maharaja money bag to obviously keep doing well. But no, it's not going to happen, because if Jinder can't uphold his end of it, Brock and Paul aren't going to carry him. No way.
Not the type to.
No.
Not the type to. So, you can only see what happens, I suppose. Now, there was a 6-man tag team match between The Miz and The Bar that took on Rollins, Ambrose, and surprisingly AJ Styles, fresh off his match with Finn Balor at TLC. Excellent match, plenty of exciting sequences. In the end, it was Rollins and Ambrose who dived on Miz, Sheamus, and Curtis Axel on the outside of the ring before AJ pinned Cesaro following his phenomenal forearm for the win.
Can we just give AJ some props here?
Yeah.
For the week that he's had.
He came all the way from Buenos Aires to
started
wrestle.
off last Tuesday.
Yeah.
At SmackDown. Then, like you said, goes to Chile, goes to Argentina, leaves at the last minute to go and take part in TLC
in Minneapolis.
Then goes and takes part.
Takes part on Raw.
Takes part on Raw the last night and took part. Did he take part in SmackDown? No, I don't think he did. Did he?
He was there.
He
wasn't hard to notice. He wasn't hard to spot, to be honest with you. He was definitely there. He attacked the Shields.
No.
He was on.
I'm talking SmackDown the next night.
Oh yeah, he was there.
Just trying to think.
I'm pretty certain he was.
I don't
anyway.
think so.
Make me second guess it here.
I think we are.
No, he was there. I think. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he was.
He was against one of the...
Oh, he was against one of the Sings. He was. Oh my god. So many people are probably screaming down the speakers right now saying he was against the Sings. He was.
Mind farts while checking our notes.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, after the match, Kane came out to attack AJ, Rollins and Ambrose while the rest of the team, Team Miz, strolled away. Afterwards then, Kane said that he put away Braun Strowman to where he belongs, in the back of a garbage truck, aka murder. Then Kane said that he wants more competition or else. Finn Balor came out to answer Kane's challenge, and despite Balor's best efforts, Kane beat him after 3 chokeslams in what looked like to a lot of people a squash match. Now I am very hot and cold about this match. More so cold.
Yeah, like a lot of people are.
Like the good thing about this match is that it starts the rivalry now between Kane and Strowman.
Yeah,
which I get, and that's fine. And like I understand that Kane it makes sense for him to go over and to dominate an opponent, like especially now with Strowman in the background, and he will come back in eventually, and that's grand. That's no problem whatsoever.
Yep. I agree with all that. Yeah.
My problem though is, like, you could have had any wrestler from the roster to have that do it. Of all people, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
A man who had his best match this year against AJ Styles, who had all the momentum in the world after that, right back there in almost in talk for Universal title, right up there. Despite obviously him talking about it in his promos.
Yeah.
Now he has this go. Now he has this fantastic match.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, squash and done. Bomb.
I love Dave Rams. They're great. I love Dave Rams.
The only person that would make less sense in this would be Roman Reigns, who wasn't even there.
Yeah.
But he picked Finn Balor.
Yep.
Why?
Oh, that was loud.
Sorry, I'm very agitated by this.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
only-
I rant enough on this show. It's about time you
The
did.
only reason this would actually make sense, and it'd be very clever on WWE's part, and to be honest with you, there's a part of me that thinks that this is... You're laughing at this right now.
I'm loving this. Keep going.
There's the only reason this would make sense, and it'd be amazing booking, and there's part of me that thinks that Vince is going this way.
Okay.
If Finn Balor gets a title shot between now and, let's say, WrestleMania, imagine, let's say he challenges Brock at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Facing someone like Kane, it makes people think maybe he, even as good as he is, he's not capable of standing a chance against the bigger guys. This builds him up then towards that.
Yeah, it's a hard sell.
It's a very hard sell.
Yeah.
But it's very intelligent booking long term if that's the case. If that's the case, I'll forgive this. But until then,
No,
what the hell is
it's
going
not.
on?
Dave, it's not.
No, you know what I'm like.
What they're doing is a bit like
I'm very optimistic about that. Just so you know.
I know like, you are one of these glass half full sort of people, and
But in this case,
one of the reasons why I love you, Dave. But in this case, no, it's total short term booking. It's what WWE have been criticized for to no end for the last couple of years.
I actually don't want to believe that right now.
Like, looking at it, like we said, Finn against Brock is going to be a hard sell solely because you look at both people, like standing side by side. You think it's like, no, but like you to make this, to sell this, you needed Finn to probably go over in that, or at least put up a fight.
He did put up a bit of a fight. That's the thing.
Squashed, man.
It was more of a squash.
It was a Braun Strowman James Ellsworth squash.
I won't go that far.
It was though. It's like I said. There's anyone else there in the back, and then what made it worse even after, he was part of the guys that was attacked in the locker room as well.
So that made him look weak as well.
Exactly. It's very odd. I don't know what they're doing. Like,
let's move on.
Is it too late for Finn to go back to Japan?
No, listen, it's time to repair. let's repair this. The only way is up at this stage, anyway. But
go back and be the head of the Bullet Club again.
But it just makes no sense in the back of that AJ match. It really doesn't.
Yeah, no, it's just
unless it was a case. Look, to be honest with you, the only another way you could excuse this, like, because the AJ Finn match logically wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Sister Abigail and the Demon,
which probably would have meant Finn losing.
And in that case, it's on a losing streak, and then okay, fair enough. But in this case,
I don't know, would he have been in that match if he had lost the previous night?
That's I don't know. Yeah, but that makes less sense then. If he lost, and he wouldn't be against Kane. I don't know, man. Let's move on, because I'm getting very agitated about that.
You are, aren't you?
So let's move on to the main talking point of... well, first of all, Kurt had a very interesting chat with Shane McMahon in his office before they came out and saying at each other's bands. They're like bantering to each other, saying, oh, well, I think we'll beat you this year, yeah, but, we won them last year. That's because I wasn't on there. Like, it was all cheerful banter, like, the sort of stuff you get, like in a Sunday, after a Sunday League game. But Kurt later on came back to the ring to announce that the Raw Superstars for his men's team for Survivor Series. But before Kurt could say anything, Shane, along with not all of the SmackDown roster. Now, before I go any further, I want to say another thing. This isn't a rant, really. This is actually very clever what they did with this. Mm-hmm. They were very selective by the people that were on the SmackDown roster that came out. So, like, for example, there's no Zayn, no Owens, no Nakamura, no Orton.
Nakamura was there.
Was he?
Yeah.
He was sure?
The funniest thing about Nakamura was he was hanging. The big group were running through, and Nakamura was just strolling then afterwards. He was like.
Also, everyone's marching through, and here's him doing all that.
No, he wasn't. He just was walking with his hands behind his back with a weird, kind of a creepy smile on his face as well. He was kind of like that person, when there's a group of friends, and then there's one guy that's just after joining the group for the first time, and he's kind of on the outside, and he's quiet, and he doesn't know when to make the move to actually become part of the group.
Yeah.
He was that.
Okay, fair enough.
He was following the group around. He felt like he belonged. He was wearing the blue top and everything. And I think at one point, when they were attacking Seth and Dean, he got a few kicks in on Dean. That was about it.
But going back to this though, I think they're very clever in leaving people out from that SmackDown bunch, protecting them. Even Jinder.
Jinder was never going to be part of that.
Jinder
was never going to be part of that.
That's the point, though. They're protecting them, which I think
there
is clever.
There was two people that were on it that was like that I didn't agree with.
Baron Corbin was one of them.
No.
Really?
No, the two people. Well, Baron Corbin was actually three, then Baron Corbin being one of it as well. Actually being a teammate and stuff I didn't get.
Was Charlotte's on it, actually?
No, wasn't. There's a funny story about that, actually. I get it. It's not about Charlotte, but it was the women that took part in it. But the trait, there was two people. Yeah, you know already. You're smiling, you know.
We'll say it off air.
Natalia and Zack Ryder.
Know,
so yeah, there you go. It's just she's just reaching for some nuts. But
go on.
It was Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, which I didn't agree with.
Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
They were both there. They were both pretending to be teammates, and they're meant to be in a feud together.
Yes, but I think they're extending their rivalry now to be part of the SmackDown team.
Yeah, they did mention it. Like, it's like, oh yeah, we were buddy last time. It's like, no, you shouldn't have been buddy in the first place. You're meant to hate each other. What are you doing?
In this case, it's a common thing.
One or the other. Pick one or the other.
Maybe, yeah.
I know it's probably all just a setup for this 2 out of 3 falls, man.
But anyway, Shane then they came into around the ring with Shane on the ring. Shane then declared that Raw is now under siege by SmackDown. As Kurt raced backstage, the SmackDown roster then went backstage to attack everyone from wrestlers to backstages to locker rooms. They went through Titus Worldwide first. They then Baron Corbin attacked one of the TV bunch. Went to the locker room. What I love about the locker room, Chad Gable, who went straight for Jason Jordan.
I know, right? That was brilliant.
Yeah. So talk about Pete from going to Raw, and then Goldust and Finn Balor were in that locker room as well, and then Rusev gotten up on the massage table yelling his head off, and then they went into, I think the other locker room was Scott Dawson and the Gallows and Anderson, I think it was.
I'm not too sure.
I think it was one of them. Then the Raws won. The strange thing about the Raws, about everything, all the other attacks compared to that one, everyone was the SmackDown roster outnumbered everyone. Here's the women's division against the women's division.
4-on-4.
It was too fair of a fight.
Yeah.
Like,
it should have been like 4-on-3 or something at least.
Like, I had like Alicia Fox, which I can't even understand why she's captain, if I'm brutally honest with you. God knows why she is.
Who?
Why Alicia Fox is their captain.
She won the match, I don't know.
It makes no sense to
Crazy
me.
Captain, which will probably lead them to losing the match, I don't know.
Especially against Becky. But like, it was a fair fight. Everything else made sense. Like, it was good. Right? It was, it was like 10-on-2.
You know what I'd love? Sorry, just to interrupt there, that you mentioned Becky as a captain. You know what I'd love her to do now?
What?
To get like an armband with a big like C on it, like a captain's armband that you'd wear in football.
Of course.
And she'd wear that for the next couple of weeks.
Why not?
I'd love it.
With a Dublin jersey as well. It's a blue jersey.
There you go, Team Blue. There you go.
She's a dub.
Yeah. Leinster will also survive. So I don't mind if you do.
Yeah, but again, going back to the attack, it was 4-on-4. It was an even fight with the rest of the guys just going in and then encouraging them, then moving on, and then a lot of them even attacking the Shield after until I think it was it Rusev and Corbin who dragged Kurt out I think
Yeah.
it was, yeah,
Didn't
until
really drag him out. He just held on to him. while he walked out.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Shane then said that you better bring everything at Survivor Series as they will finish what they started. And it was fantastic booking. It really was.
Yeah.
That was really good. And it really leads to, like, we don't know what to expect now from... And there was so much speculation after that Raw ended. What will they attack on SmackDown and this and that?
It would have
and
been
so
too soon to do it.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. I thought it would be too predictable, I figured, if it was too soon.
Yeah.
At least give it a week.
Like
I'm expecting it next week.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I think it'd be the week that they're in Manchester.
Which is what, the week before?
The 7th and the 8th of November.
That's next... I think that's
It's
too
not
late.
next week, the week after.
I think that's too late. I think next week's
it's the
week to do
perfect
it.
time. Perfect time. Because then next week they'll expect it too. And because what's going on with the little seeds of doubt between Brian and Shane McMahon. So
We'll get to that, actually.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's start on that with SmackDown.
On to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, Smackdown.
Well, first of all, talk about Shane coming out and talking about what that he learned at an early age. It was better to strike first by getting into a fight, or starting the fight first, like under siege. He also said that SmackDown putting Raw under siege was fueled by Kurt Angle's comments that SmackDown wouldn't measure up to Raw, but that SmackDown are ready. Sami Zayn then came out. For the record, I'm loving Sami Zayn as a heel, by the way. I think he's an excellent heel because he's such a goofball.
yeah.
He came out to say, as over the top as possible, hoping that there'd be no hard feelings over Hell in a Cell. Shane came back saying that he has added insult to injury by having Kevin Owens cover him for the loss at the Hell in a Cell match. Zayn responded by saying that if Shane was a competitor, then he would have taken him out in the seconds before offering his services along with Owens to be part of SmackDown's team at Survivor Series, saying that Shane can't be stupid to leave him out. Shane responded that he didn't need or want Zayn or Owens on the team, but gave him the opportunity to earn their spots on the team if he beat Randy Orton on the night. Owens was then told by Zayn that he'll face Nakamura to earn a spot next week.
Yeah.
But again, I'm loving his antics as a heel, like the way he goes on with the match, like especially like the pushes and shoves here and there. It's nice little stuff.
Yeah.
In the Orton Zayn match itself, some superplex, by the way. Remember that superplex Orton gave Zayn?
Yes.
It was like 12 foot tall or something like that. And
that's the best match Randy Orton's had in a long time.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Randy Orton we do slate a lot, like in matches, but like we underestimate how good he actually is. But the fact is, he just still has bad matches.
Yeah.
Maybe too often for his own good.
It's not that. It's just sometimes he can't help it though. He was on a hiding to nothing there with the Jinder Mahal matches and stuff. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Owens tried to interfere during the match, and Zayn almost beat Orton with a roll-up pin, but Orton managed to low-blow Zayn, karma if you like, from the last week when the ref was distracted after Owens, before finishing off Zayn with the RKO for the win and earn the spot for the SmackDown team. Now, as good as the match, that was a very good match actually. It was one of the better matches this week actually. Do you think Zayn should have won that match though? Because would that made more sense as opposed to Orton? Because that's what I was thinking about after that. Like, yeah, Orton won, but where's that lead Zayn after this whole?
it is
heel
difficult
turn?
for Zayn to do that. All right, yeah, not difficult for Zayn to do that, but it is difficult for him that a week after winning, then he's going to lose. And
I have a theory.
Okay,
I have a theory on this. Call this fancy booking. Now, I think I believe this, and Owens I think will lose next week as well. He'll lose to Nakamura.
yeah,
And Zayn and so Orton and Nakamura on the team, Zayn and Owens are not. I feel they will go on a tirade then against Shane McMahon going up to SmackDown, and we see a bit of uncertainty as well from Daniel Bryan.
what are you thinking? Daniel Bryan turns heel as well.
I think so.
It's not a bad call.
That's actually because the only way that would make sense for Daniel Bryan to be a heel turn would be that. I can't see the reason.
I don't
though.
think it would work though. Daniel
I
Bryan as
think
a
it
heel
could.
because the crowd won't accept it.
I think that's the point. So, like the fact they won't accept it isn't a bad thing. Like where the fans accept it is no disrespect. It's irrelevant really.
Sure.
It's a shock factor of them becoming of him becoming a heel.
Yeah.
That for me it would be a very good booking if they did that. Like So there you go, Owen, Zayn, and Bryan going against Shane McMahon. It would lead to like a WrestleMania match where one or the other has to go.
It could be. Like I can see why you're doing it as well because, like, Daniel Bryan can go to Shane, I'm pissed off, you did this, you won't let me wrestle, but you keep wrestling matches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And plus, he's put off by all this miscommunication. Like, he seemed very unimpressed by Shane for not telling him in advance about the Raw attack.
Yeah.
And he explained that he had to first strike first and made the call by himself. But Bryan responded saying that he's just putting in his input, and maybe he feels that his input isn't being listened to by Shane.
Yeah.
He later on warned Shane that although the Raw roster didn't retaliate, they will, and they better be ready. So
yeah,
you know, it's just stuff like that, and we never seen it before from Bryan and Shane. They never really had a problem working with each other, as opposed to Foley and Stephanie before, like on Raw. So this could be the seeds are there. The
seeds of doubt are definitely there. I do agree with that. They are. I just don't know. Don't know.
Yeah. Now going back to Brock and Mahal, like Mahal obviously responded to Paul Heyman's comments before AJ's match against Sanal Singh. He took to the mic in response, saying Paul Heyman's comments on Raw, saying that Heyman is a liar and a used-up car salesman, and that he is the most powerful champion in WWE, and in fact Brock Lesnar's worst nightmare, as opposed to Brock's counterpart, and how the Maharaja era has only just begun.
Yeah.
Now it's what you expect from a Jinder Mahal promo, but
it's a standard Jinder promo.
But it's compared to Heyman's. Again, it's gone back to what we said on Raw. Booking wise, it's not a good sign. I don't think. I'm very concerned about this match.
I can't this is gonna be nowhere near it's gonna be nowhere near like the last cross promotional match Brock had with.
Not even close.
With Randy, thank you. I was going to say the last promotional match he had with RKO. It's like no. But like I'm feeling nothing for this until I see something happen in terms of Jinder showing up and completely like destroying Brock, which I know won't. Sorry, excuse me. I'm all over the place.
Full of gas right now.
Full of gas right now, and hot gas and hot air, just talking crap as usual. But yeah, until I see something like that, which I know won't happen, I just feel nothing for this match.
Yeah,
and I think it's just gonna.
It's a weird one to follow, isn't it?
Yeah, I see it as a match that's just gonna take up time on the pay-per-view, and it's probably gonna be the match to finish out it as well.
Oh, that's the thing. It has to. It has to. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mahal was barred from ringside before the match started between Sunil and AJ.
Very strange decision, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, that he banned just him. Why didn't he ban both of them?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's one or the other, or it can't be. Or no, it's both, or all or nothing. I mean, AJ quickly beats him by making him submit to the calf crusher. After the match, Mahal demanded that Daniel Bryan, Zamir Singh, face AJ next week, which Bryan accepted by asking Samir twice if it's what he really wanted. So goes to show you there. Other bits and pieces, as we mentioned, Becky won the Fatal 5-Way to become SmackDown captain by submitting Carmella with the disarmer. Did you notice actually before New Day took on Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable that they found a table that's saying raw fruits on a sign? I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. It was it seemed like a weird plant. Like, believe it or not, Benjamin and Gable won that match. Like, it was. It
was a class match. I loved it. It was the best match that was on SmackDown. Well, second best. Sorry, Randy and Sammy was the best.
It was a very good match. There's something about Benjamin and Gable. I feel a bit of heel elements coming from them.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit.
And even
especially with the way the Gable attacked Jordan and stuff like that.
Well, not even that. With the exception of that, really. If let's say that didn't happen, looking at the dynamics of the match, certainly the way they won this match with the kick in the back of the head.
Yeah. Well, like the thing is, they were never going to make the New Day heel in that match. Like I said,
of course,
always a heel versus face element in it.
But even then, you see the Usos getting a bit of a pop more lately as well, especially in the back of the Hell in the Cell match.
Yeah, because their gimmick has worked so well, it's gotten over with the crowd. It's exactly what they wanted.
So eventually, but what I'm saying is, they'll probably get more over and over and over because of their work as a heel. When they could eventually become not a baby face, but a face.
A face,
as I explained to you. And
they were a little bit of a face last week as well.
Yeah.
saying, giving the respect sign and respect to
Yeah.
the New Day and stuff like that. They didn't have to. Heels would not normally do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're getting in the tweener, isn't that what's the new hipster term, isn't it?
That's not a new term. I've heard of that ages ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I only heard of it, so it's new to me.
Meanwhile, best friends one night, enemies another night. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Ziggler said to Bobby Roode is just an entrance by beating him last week, and Roode showed up to challenge Ziggler to a 2 out of 3 falls match, which Ziggler accepted, with Roode believing that it'll be glorious. And I think, can you see the winner of that match being part of the Smackdown team?
It is the stipulation for it.
Oh, it is it?
It
I
is,
must have missed it for the match.
The winner is part of Team Smackdown, which you would probably think is going to be Bobby Roode.
I do think so.
AJ or Dolph has had his Survivor Series moments and stuff like that. I think it's going to be Dolph then.
Yeah.
I could probably name the team. Like Randy Orton's already on it. It's going to be Shinsuke, AJ, Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, and one more. I'm going to say Rusev.
Okay.
I think Rusev will probably make it.
Well, my main concern with Rusev is I feel he's being pushed more for a tag team with Aiden English at the moment.
I heard he's doing house shows with Aiden English, alright, and they are going to be a tag team.
Yeah, because I think SmackDown needs more heel tag teams at the moment.
Saying that,
they fill the voids.
Well, the Bludgeon Brothers are debuting this coming Tuesday.
Besides them, who else they have?
Breezango.
Heel tag teams now.
Heel tag team?
Yeah.
Oh. Bludgeon Brothers, Usos, Gable, Benjamin, if they turn it that way.
Yeah, but if not them, then you have Rusev.
Ascension,
and
I guess,
English.
are heels, aren't they?
They're more faces lately with the Breezango thing.
Yeah. Thing is, though, they don't look at Raw. Raw don't have a lot of tag teams. They still make it work.
I suppose, yeah. But I mean, heel tag teams supposed to face tag teams. That's all I mean by that. Anyway, let's quickly move on to 205 Live and NXT. Just get through them very quickly. Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander took on Tony Nese and Noam Dar. I was mad how Nese did scissor crunches while kicking Swann against the corner and instructing Dar to do the same. He was doing like this, those scissor crunches.
Oh, I did see the gif of that. GIF or GIF?
GIF, the GIF. Yeah.
GIF.
Yes, Kendrick and Gallagher observed the match from ringside while Swann superkicked Dar in the head to help Alexander get out of a guillotine choke before Alexander finished Dar off with his lumbar check. After the match, Kendrick weirdly complimented Alexander's aggression against him and Gallagher at TLC. Yeah. But he'll always be a clown if he decides to align himself with Rich Swann. So it's a very interesting tactic that Kendrick's trying to do. He's trying to maybe force Alexander away from Swann.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Like I said,
I know you're trying to say to me 205 is actually getting better.
It is.
I can't watch it.
It is getting better though. It generally is getting better. Try and watch it, mate.
I can't.
So please try one.
What?
Please try.
I try and watch the YouTube highlights and I can't. I just can't.
Drew Gulak took on Graham.
Sorry.
Okay.
Neville leaving has hurt me too much.
Okay. Drew Gulak took on Graham Metalik. Gulak only got one slide in with his presentation before Metalik came out. Some amazing balance on the ropes from Metalik. His balance is incredible, especially on the ropes where he just turns almost effortlessly on it. In a good match, Gulak reversed the Metalik fireman's carry into a dragon sleeper for the submission win. After the match, Gulak intended on injuring Metalik's leg before Akira Tozawa saved him. And the main event, Arias Avari spoke for a voiceless Enzo Amore before his Cruiserweight title rematch against Kalisto. Kalisto gave Enzo no room at the start of the match until Enzo made Kalisto tumble out of the ring. What a whirlwind driver as well from. It was like a fireman's carry, except it was like a fireman's carry slam where you jump on them, but it was from the side. It was pretty class. It was on the apron as well. It looked like Kalisto was about to finish off Enzo, but then Enzo deliberately pushed the referee with his leg against the ropes to make Kalisto fall off the top rope, causing the match to be stopped. A furious Kalisto then went after Enzo on the rampway before refs separated him. So, disqualification finish.
Yay.
NXT. It was announced at the start of the show by William Regal that Authors of Pain will get their tag team title rematch next week. It was also announced that Nikki Cross will participate at the Women's Battle Royale to decide it's the fourth contender for the women's title match at NXT Houston. Only Lorcan and Danny Butch, I knew they'd finally tag together. It was either they had to, after
Can they be called the Cue Balls? Because Come on. They got to be called the cue balls.
They took on Russell Moss and Tino Sabatelli in a very good match. It was actually Sabatelli and Moss who won, with Moss giving the fallaway slam to Lorcan on the bottom turnbuckle before the team finished him off with like a gory special bulldog combo. It was actually a class finish.
I saw that, actually. It was really good.
The Women's Battle Royale took place to decide the final contender for the NXT Women's title match at Houston. Cross got her revenge on Tayaya Conte, who was the lady who attacked her to make her lose the triple threats the last couple of weeks, before Conte dragged her out of the ring to attack her. Cross then came back into the match. Some strength from Bianca Belair to gorilla press slam Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
And she's probably similar size to her as well. So.
Oh, no, she's bigger.
But my God, she's impressive.
Yeah.
And she's only wrestling for a year.
I know. That thing with her hair.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, the sounds alone just hurt.
And what happened? Then the final four then was between Belair, Mercedes Martinez, Cross, and Billie Kay. Kay managed to stay in the ring while grabbing onto Belair's long plaits before Belair made her pay by whipping her with it as she got back into the ring. Cross then managed to eliminate Belair and Mercedes before capitalising on Kay, thinking that she won to eliminate her to win the Battle Royale. After the match, Cross, Peyton Royce, Ember Moon, and Kairi Sane had a four-way standoff in the ring with Regal holding the vacant women's title. Velveteen Dream attacked Aleister Black from behind when it looked like
angle alone for that was fantastic.
Wasn't it?
Just obviously Aleister Black does his entrance where he rises, and then you just see Velveteen Dream rise. Brilliant. I love where this storyline is going.
It's very
I'm loving it so much.
It's a very intriguing rivalry, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't even have to say a lot to each other. Like, this is perfect build up for a feud for a character who doesn't say a lot. It's brilliant. I love it.
Dream slapped him on the face while trapping Black's arms between the ropes, and then Black released himself and almost hit his Black mask kick before Dream avoided and retreating. Before Roderick Strong took on Andrade Almas, Selena Vega took to the mic saying that Drew McIntyre is avoiding him by not giving him a title shot. In a very good match, it looked like Strong was about to finish Almas after baseball sliding Almas from the outside. But then when Almas was thrown back to the ring, Vega out of nowhere gave Strong a diving hurricanrana from the ring apron,
Well done, isn't it?
leading Strong to fall into the steel steps.
Well done.
Lita-like.
Yeah.
Shades of Lita. And no one saw that coming. I was such a shock. Almas took advantage by dragging Strong into the ring and finishing him off with the hammerlock DDT. After the match, Vega and Almas took commentary in both English and Spanish, saying that Almas will go face to face with McIntyre next week. I'm intrigued by this. I wasn't sure last week, but now I like it. Like, especially with Vega, she's the difference maker. Like, you know. And after the match, after Almas,
well, the thing is, like, Cien Almas has been fantastic for the last year. He's been sort of doing the newcomer duty where he's been the guy facing the newcomers in takeover matches.
Of course.
And, unfortunately, he's lost a good few matches, but the run that he's on recently and the matches that he's been having are fantastic.
He's actually been getting the pop. Like, you know, he's an over heel right now, especially since Vega's been with him. Like, you know.
The thing I didn't realise, I was actually watching a documentary during the week. It was like a short 20-minute one that you find on YouTube, and it was about Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
And because, like, you know, you've told me numerous times that he actually used to be a face and the crowd hated him, and then he left and he came back and now he's this great heel. But I didn't know when he was in Mexico he was actually in the same stable as Cien Almas.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, Los Ingobernables. You know the words.
Los Ingobernables de Japan.
Yeah, but it was just Los in. Say it again.
Los Ingobernables de Japan.
Yeah, but take the de
L.I.J.
Japan away. Just take the de Japan away.
Los Ingobernables. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, they were in that stable together in Mexico. I didn't know that, and just it's fantastic.
The L.J.s was called them.
What?
The L.I.s.
L.I.s, yeah.
Instead of L.I.J.s.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just I saw that, and then I can understand how good his matches are now from training with Naito for so long as well.
Yeah. Now, when Almas and Vega left, the Undisputed Era then approached the ring with Roderick Strong still there. Adam Cole spoke to Strong, sympathising his loss, saying that he's not a loser, and offered that he join the Undisputed Era by giving Strong a Undisputed Era armband.
I hope he joins them. I think he'd be classing.
It would be. He took the armband with no definite response. He didn't seem to accept it, but he didn't seem to reject it either. So it's interesting times, isn't it?
Yeah.
So very interesting to see. I don't know if I can see. I can see like him turning against it eventually, but it remains to be seen.
I don't know. He might turn against it.
He might.
And then he might then show up at a takeover. Maybe at War Games?
Yeah,
Maybe.
we'll have to see what happens. Now let's move on and finish off our show now with our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
So first of all, we're going to talk about Over the Top Wrestling, who will be returning to the Tivoli Theatre next Saturday on November 4th for OTT Vendetta. To tell us more about now, joining us on the line, OTT ring announcer Daniel Gann, aka Butch. Butch, thanks for joining us once again here on the Kickouts.
No problem. It's always a pleasure that you have me on. And I love, you know me, I love talking about OTT, even to random people on the street. It's always good to talk a bit about OTT, isn't it?
Absolutely, sure. Why not? There's a lot going on for OTT at the moment, especially on the back of the last show going into here in Vendetta. Like, there's a lot of really good matches coming up, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's just, I think everyone at OTT and all the fans pretty happy with all the consistency of the shows. And, you know, hopefully that carries forward until next year. Who knows, like, we did a lot this year. Who knows what we're going to do next year? And, like, as the final couple of shows, as you say, don't forget, Contenders are coming up. I suppose that, you know, we're going to see, it's going to kind of cap off in our December show to show really how big OTT is and how it's been throughout the year.
Absolutely. Well, there's so much to look forward to going into being in the lease. That'll be happening later on in December in the National Stadium. But in the meantime, we'll talk about Vendetta, and there's a lot of really good, interesting matches coming up. For example, I've noticed on Twitter that William J has been impressed by Scotty Davis and has given him an opportunity against a mystery opponent. It's very interesting, the opportunities Scotty Davis is getting, but also who he could possibly face as well.
Yeah, well, I suppose, like, with the whole, like, OTT this year has been notorious for surprises, and the surprises have been pretty big. I'll give you an example. Mark has shown up now and again. You know, he's kind of one name, but also, it's like, last time we had a surprise, it was one of William J. Humperdinck's, you know, one of his buddies. So kind of interesting to see, like, who he'll put out against Scotty Davis, who is phenomenal. Like, the guy still has a lot of years ahead of him, and, like, to be that good this early in your career,
absolutely,
God knows what he's going to be like in years to come. And I think whatever challenge is thrown at him, I think he'll be able to handle it. Depends on who it is, but, you know, he's still going to try his absolute best, as usual.
Absolutely. Well, I'm loving about Scotty's performances in particular, and I've talked to Daragh about this on the show, is how mature his performance, his game has become a lot more. Like, you know, he's becoming more submission grounded. He's adding a lot of elements to his game, so it seems like whoever he'll be against, he'll be more than prepared for.
Yeah, he's a very logical thinker when it comes to wrestling. Like, he likes to pick apart his opponents in more ways than one, and he can fly as well. Don't count him out on that, but, like, you know, that submission game is just, like, it's unheard of how good he is. Like, I've never heard of anyone be that good at, like, submission-based wrestling than him.
He's absolutely, like, so he's definitely going to give whoever the mystery opponent is a run for their money. Moving on, there's a very interesting triple threat match also coming up. El Ligaro will take on CCK's Chris Brooks and the Fabulous Nicky. Like, Fabulous Nicky in particular, who's on a bit of a roll now since he's made a return to OTT.
Yeah, he gets a bit of. He's always been one of the heart and souls of OTT. Like, he wrestled in the first ever match of OTT. And, you know, he's still around. He's still working his butt off to kind of get more opportunities. And this is a big one for him. Like, to him, one of the biggest matches he's had in OTT is going back now to Uni match. This is me being a historian. Going back to the second OTT, he went up against Jordan Devlin and Pete Dunne in a triple threat elimination match.
Wow.
So this one, like, but this was before Pete Dunne was, as we all know now, the bruiserweight, where he was just still dynamite, still trying to find who he really is. He was still really good back then. And Jordan Devlin, like, he's another person that's not like we know him now. But Chris Brooks is someone that's kind of on pretty much just above the level they were at right now. He's been on an incredible run over in the UK, obviously with CCK and all that. But don't count him out when he's up one-on-one. He is a fantastic, phenomenal catch wrestler that
absolutely,
everyone should be paying close eye to. El Ligero, he's been around the block many times. He's the busiest wrestler in Europe probably, and he's just really good. But Fabulous Nicky, I feel, he is one of the most underrated talents in the country. People don't really, people might not know this. Some people do know this. He is actually a very, very talented wrestler.
Absolutely,
And, he's gonna put that all into his match, and I think he is gonna give these two lads a fair go.
Absolutely, as I said, all of them are established in their own way. I agree with you with Chris Brooks. I remember when I saw him against Damien Corvin and at the last event against Logan Bryce. He definitely is more than capable by himself. But as you said, all three of them are very worthy to have a go at this match for sure. Now, speaking one guy I think we're all particularly interested in checking out for OTT is the current CCW Wired champion Joey Janela. Now, for those who may not know much about Joey Janela, what can we expect from him?
I only found out about Joey Janela at the start of this year through internet. He is one of the people that is using the internet to his advantage, and that's a brilliant thing with him. He is crazy. He is nuts. He's a bit like Angel Cruz, as some people would say. He is crazy, and he does know how to make himself well known. He is not coming in here just there was a couple of people who still don't know who he is. Basically, he is one of the most talked about wrestlers in indies in the USA, and this guy's going to be big in a couple of years. But he's very crazy. He's a very hardcore based wrestler, so I don't know if we're going to see him in a hardcore environment, but that's kind of where he's most comfortable at. He's a bit like the USA's version of Jimmy Havoc, and obviously not with the whole goth infusion that Jimmy Havoc has, but he is crazy. He's willing to go to any length, to beat his opponent, and which is very, very good.
Absolutely, yeah. You say he's like Angel Cruz. Imagine if him and Angel Cruz squared a one-on-one during the cards. Imagine how crazy that would be.
Yeah, that would be very, very crazy.
Indeed.
Just to see them two in the same environment.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, a very intriguing match coming up is a tag team match between Charlie Sterling and Zach Gibson. Zach Gibson is probably arguably the most hated wrestler in OTT at the moment. To take on Curtis Murray and Nathan Martin, who've been making a huge name for themselves lately on the back of the Contender shows and a bit impressed in their match against Eddie Dennis and Fabulous Nikki in the last outing. Very interesting implications for this match, especially from Zach Gibson's part, where he's trying to eliminate almost all the Irish competition from OTT.
Yeah, well, it's kind of not really bizarre, but this is a really kind of important match for both parties, okay? Because Zach Gibson is trying to prove that he's better than all the Irish talent. That's what he's saying. Him and Charlie Sterling both. Where Curtis Murray and Nathan Martin are two of the most biggest up-and-coming wrestlers, not just in this country, I feel in Europe. And they're both proving a point, both to the Irish audience, but different. So, like I said, Zach Gibson, Charlie Sterling, they want to show why they're better than the Irish, and, Nathan Martin and Curtis Murray are trying to show that they're the best of the Irish. It's kind of a weird implication, this match, as well. But you do have to kind of take into account Zach Gibson's skill as well. Although this guy may be just... can't even really say it. He's just really a bad person, He just likes to get under a lot of people's skin. Charlie Sterling, similar. But Zach Gibson he had a match with Matt Riddle at Belfast, and he took him to the limit. Zach Gibson is, and this is very well known, he is a very, very good technical wrestler. He can do so many great submissions. He knows how to get around an opponent if he has to. Charlie Sterling, on the other hand, he is phenomenal in athleticism. He's one of the most athletic wrestlers I've ever seen, despite him being a bit of a, bad person.
Yeah.
He's still a pretty, really talented guy, and very underrated in the UK scene. Not so in Ireland, because we have adapted to him from him being here nearly 2 years, and he still had some great matches, although he has annoyed a lot of people.
Of course, yeah. Well, speaking of annoying people, I think Zach Gibson's comments may have annoyed a certain Kings of the North. For those who weren't at the event or seen it on OTT On Demand, I noticed that Kings of the North were were on stage almost, I don't know how to describe it, but seemed to be not very impressed by Gibson's choice of words. So do you think there could be any implications of that?
I don't know. Well, I think Zach Gibson, he may have found out on demand because, he was very oblivious to the fact. But the Kings of the North are watching him very closely. And despite what, like, Kings of the North have gotten under people's skin as well, but also you have to admire that they are actually probably one of the best tag teams around.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about this country. I mean, they're been in England a lot, and they have been having brilliant matches and dream matches. They had a match recently with Polo Promotions, which went down very well.
I heard about that.
And they have another match with CCK, but this ain't a 3-on-3. This is a 2-on-2. This is Corbin and Bonesaw versus Lycos and Brooks. But I have a feeling that something might be brewing. Whether the Kings of the North go up against Gibson or Sterling, we never know. But also don't be distracted by Murray and Martin.
Of course.
Just being there, because if they impress in this match, maybe it's them who could step up and challenge them.
Who knows? The way they're going, and then certainly in the back of their performance, there's every reason why they could go up there and challenge for the titles in the future. Continuing with the title picture, Session Martina will be defending her OTT Women's title against Manchester's Lana Austin.
Yeah, there's a good few similarities between the two of them.
Okay.
Both of them have an interest in whoever the ref is. I don't know if you've seen the viral videos of Lana Austin. She likes to mess with referee's mind.
I've heard about this, yeah.
That's Martinez. So maybe that might distract them both. But to be honest, Foxy, he's my bro. One of the biggest bromances in OTT is me and him, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
So I hate to see him be misleaded or being led on, because you can't let that happen to a pal. But other than that, Lana Austin is still a tremendous women's wrestler. Just a tremendous wrestler in general. I don't know why I needed to emphasize she's a woman, but she's great, She's brilliant. She's been around the block a few times. She's even been on TNA British Boot Camp a couple of years ago. But, this could be one of Martina's biggest tests so far. And, Martina has been on quite the roll this year. Even from losing the title at the end of last year to just have this big resurgence and claiming it back. She's going to be starting... I think she's starting to kind of ask for more from OTT management, give her more female competition, and that's what she is getting.
Absolutely. Especially in the back of her match last time against Vera Scott, and now Lana Austin. It seems like it seems like she's the female version of the import killer now with all this competition she's getting.
She could be, but then again, you never know. There's still a big list of women's wish list, as I like to call it, of people that could come in. And, maybe someone from her past will come in, maybe someone from her future, maybe someone that, she has faced before and has changed ever since they went up against each other last. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what the future holds. And the future is looking brilliant for her.
Absolutely. There's definitely, there's a lot of momentum going for Martina, not just in OTT, but, around Europe as well. She's making a huge name for herself as well. Now, continuing on, the last two matches are probably the two most significant going into being the Elite. First of all, Jordan Devlin taking on Matt Riddle with the winner to challenge for the NLW title at being the Elite.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to this one.
It'll be a hell of a match.
I said earlier on about Jordan Devlin, who at his first OTT show went up against, was in a triple threat with Pete Dunne and the Fabulous Nikki. Now Jordan Devlin, look at him. He is WWE UK tournament, as everyone knows. Now, but he's just been having some of the greatest matches I've ever witnessed live.
Absolutely.
He is a match of the year factory, nearly. Put him without anyone, he'll have a great match with him. And there's only very few people that can do that. Fortunately for him, one of the other people that can do that is Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
So it's good in the sense that they're going to have a great match, a good war. It's hard for him because Matt Riddle's not easy to defeat. Neither was any of his opponents that have come up in the past. And that's for both lads. Matt Riddle has had tough challenges. Jordan Devlin has had tough challenges this year. It's kind of like... It's like if I was a betting man and I'd be going into the bookies, I'd be nearly flipping a coin to see who I go with. It's like both of them are even. And this could definitely be one of the matches of the year.
Absolutely.
At every OTT, there's always that. There's always going to be a match of the year candidate. But I think this could be it.
there's always a match you walk out with, especially as of late, as you mentioned, like Jordan wrestling or Matt Riddle wrestling, we always walk out thinking that was just amazing. And with these two combined now, it has the ingredients for some fireworks to happen in this event for sure. And of course now the main event now between Mark Haskins, the NLW champion, to take on Travis Banks now. So that's a very interesting match as well. Like, you know, because these are two very, very similar styles, or certainly they have both very aggressive approaches. So another match for fireworks as well.
The reason I said Jordan Devlin and Matt Riddle could be match of the year is because this match is also a contender. Travis Banks has been, and everyone would say, it's the hottest indie wrestler in the UK.
Yeah.
He has had one of the most tremendous runs, and I'm not talking just in Progress, as lots of people know he won the Progress title from Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Fight Club Pro, he's become pretty much a god there.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
Forever, he's doing like a lot in. He was their inaugural champion, if I'm correct.
Okay.
And there's been so many. And he went to Bola. He went to Battle of Los Angeles, which is tremendous for him. But I think he started a revolution in wrestling. He travelled from down under New Zealand to come to the UK to wrestle, to like learn the UK way of wrestling, have these brilliant matches, and now he's like grabbed attention in America. And he's like nearly a regular for PWG at the moment. Obviously, last time there was a bit of issues with him as he tweeted out with the visa, but like he's still on their radar and he's still going to be back. And he is just a remarkable, very humble person, and like he can only get bigger from here.
Absolutely, yeah. Like he's all the potential, like to be as big as any wrestler that's come out of the UK as well. Then you have Mark Haskins, who's been a very good champion since he won the title back at WrestleRama.
Yeah, he is. I think what makes him a good champion, he is like everything OTT fans love. He is a man who has this really aggressive style of wrestling, which people sometimes looked down on him for because he was such a small lad compared to everyone else. But you don't see that. When you're in the ring, you forget like that he's like a lot smaller than some of the lads. He fights them as the same aggressiveness as like a huge wrestler, and that's something incredible to have. Just have this aggression of a big person. And like, you know, he is also a very like humble guy. He respects OTT. Because of like the fans treat him well, everyone treats him well, everyone makes sure that he's here and he's doing the best he can, and he gets motivated off that. And he's just like, it's great having him as a champion, but also you still have a lot of contenders that can take that away. Like, you know, maybe Travis Banks will have that title around his waist leaving, and that could be interesting.
Absolutely. Like, you know, as you said, like, there's all the idea it could be whoever's facing Hastings, but it could easily be whoever's facing Banks as well. So that what makes it very, very intriguing going into being the elite. So definitely huge implications for this card going into being the elite, because we never know. It could be Devlin against Banks. It could be Riddle against Haskins. We don't know. Yeah,
there's a few ways that this could go, and honestly, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of kind of, you know, combination, like multiple combinations, like different scenarios, different endings. And like, you know, this is going to shape up how Being the Elite is going. And there has been a couple of matches announced already for Being the Elite, which is something I'm looking forward to. It's going to be the highlight of the Christmas period. And I say that the show's the week before my mother's getting married.
Oh, really?
And it's the day after my birthday as well, so December is a pretty good month.
That's a pretty good month, so yeah. So not just your birthday, but your mum's wedding, so yeah. So,
But then again, I'm probably going to get into the ring and say, my mum's getting married, but I don't care, this was the better night.
Sure, why not? Sure.
Then again, weddings are magical, we shouldn't take that.
Absolutely.
But Being the Elite is always magical. Let's just say they both have the same importance in my
Absolutely.
life.
Well, I, from the kick, I want to wish your mum all the very best on her wedding day when it comes in December anyway, for sure. So, OTT Vendetta to take place on Saturday, 4th of November, next Saturday in the Tivoli Theatre in Dublin. There's still limited tickets available on eventbrite.ie. But it was terrific talking to you. I wish you all the best and more on Saturday week for Vendetta. We'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back on here in the future. So thanks, as always, for having me on.
More than welcome. And that was Butch who we spoke to about OTT Vendetta that's happening next week in the Tivoli Theatres. An awesome card, isn't it? Like, lots of great matches to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait. Got my ticket. Stage side.
I got my ticket today as well. So
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
That should be awesome.
I can't wait for Riddle and Devlin.
That should be a hell of a match. Yeah.
Even Lana Austin and Session with Martinez.
Haskins
they're going to have a fight over Foxy. No doubt they're going to have a fight over Foxy.
Absolutely. Now, very quickly, let's mention the other previews happening over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, tonight, over in 4 and 5 Penrose Quay in Cork, is CCW's Celtic Chainsaw Massacre. There's very limited tickets available on eventbrite.ie. There's a fancy dress encouraged also for the competition, also encouraged. Now, it was announced yesterday that they're actually not encouraging bring your own alcohol anymore.
No, it's not anymore. It's just for this night.
Just for this night.
Yeah, they had it.
Authorities.
It was an issue with the authorities that I thought maybe a license went out of date or something like that. Yeah. But it's this for this one time only. They have said they're very sorry. I think Lee Callahan put a post out on Twitter about it actually.
Yeah.
And it does suck. But look, listen,
you
don't need beer to enjoy wrestling.
Obviously, it's nice to have it, but it's not essential.
It is nice to have it. You can drink beforehand. You can drink afterwards.
Indeed. Anyway, there's still some fantastic matches to be announced. Jimmy Havoc against Lycan in a death match. Ricky Combat against Liu King Sharp. Raven Creed's defending her CCW women's title against Debbie Gattel with DCT recently announced now as the guest referee.
DMCTC, did you say?
DCT. It took me a few times to get it properly. Bruiser versus Danny Butler versus Chris Renfrew versus Sabu for the All-Star title in a Fatal 4-Way. Vic Viper versus Lewis Garvin. The team of Pastor William Ever and Chuck Mambo, aka Sweet Jesus they call themselves, against Rough Stuff. And in a 3-way tag team match, the Armstrongs, A-Kid and Adam Chase and Flight Mode. Did you see, by the way, the Armstrongs' last promo?
No.
Oh, you have to see it. It's just as good as a promo can get for me. It's just too funny. Okay. They cut into all these bits and pieces where they're like, "Oh, we're going to be Adam Chase, going to be A Kid." I'm like, "Wait, we're going to be A Kids," stuff like that. OTT are also doing an all ages show tomorrow on October 29th at the Wexford Spiegel Tent Festival in 1 North Main Street in Wexford. There's still tickets available on wexfordspiegeltent.com. The main match announced so far, the Kings of the North against Curtis Murray and Nathan Martin. And in a couple of weeks' time, in fact next Sunday I should say, Uprising 4 Rise to the Throne will be taking place at November 5th in the Europa Hotel in Belfast. There's tickets still available on eventbrite.co.uk. The 4 matches now have been announced. 4 quarterfinal matches have been announced for the Rise to the Throne 8-man tournament. It'll be Russell Dempster versus Curtis Murray, Eddie Stone versus Blake Richards, Callum Black against Brian Core, and Gavin Fitz against Angel Cruz. Also, Amy Alonzi will take on Debbie Cattell, Jordan Devlin will take on Scotty Davis, and a team of Adam Maxted and Stephen Carvel will take on Bonesaw and Damon Corvin of the Kings of North. So a lot of awesome matches to look forward to on that card. But anyway, that's all the time we have for this week on The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, all good podcasting providers, and on the Electrical Media Collective podcast network. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, and on Twitter at The Kickout Live, and our own personal Twitters at Dave Bandana and
Mars Bar.
And we'll be back next week live here on Near FM to talk about the latest developments from the world of pro wrestling, both here and abroad. Now we have to go out with this. Now obviously we talked about the Under Siege happening on Smackdown, but have you seen all the videos of all the wrestlers responding to it, like talking about it?
I have not actually, no.
It's actually very good watching, like saying, "Oh, we did this, we did that." It's actually pretty awesome. So I think we will go on that as soon as I can find the damn video, because I had it in front of me 2 seconds ago and now it's gone. So until next week, I've been Dave Cullen, he's been Daragh Maher, this has been The Kicker. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
I take every chance, I take every opportunity. Why? Because I'm the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Oh, baby, we don't like Raw. 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 Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. If Raw was my baby, then I'd give it away. Yeah, man, I don't want that baby. Get that baby out of here. Raw, we don't want you. Get it going. Get it going. Bye-bye. Get it going. We punk get it going. We step up in the house and whoops everybody. We don't want that baby. We don't want that baby. Get him going. Blue, baby.
Tonight was something special. No catchphrases, no gimmicks, no 10-year head start. All we did as a unit was stroll in, dominate, and walk out. I don't care about friends or allegiances. All I care about is making money. And when I win, I get more money. And tonight, I made my money.
Yeah, we don't care if you're Kurt Angle or Kurt Hawkins. Nobody on Raw is safe. And it's time we get the credit we deserve. And if we have to go through all of Raw, then so be it.
In the blink of an eye, your shield was down.
Hashtag.
Hey, Miz, I hope you were watching that. I came into your house, kicked down your door, and ran over your little Raw superstars like nothing. There's a reason I'm the United States champion, and tomorrow I'm going back to the #1 show, Smackdown Live, and I'm going to continue to do what I do best and run people over. I've got a little bit of advice for you. Come Survivor Series, you should just stay home and keep playing dress up with your little wife.